Hello. Hello. Good morning. May I have your attention, please? We really apologize for starting late due to some technical challenges, but we are trying to sort them out. So as we sort them, we'll start with a word of prayer. Today's prayers will be done by our students, and the official opening of today's session will be opened by a student from KMTC Mombasa, Sydney Barire. Kindly come, Barare. Kindly come. Then we'll have a student from Most to pray for us for tea. Thereafter, for lunch, we'll be prayed for by a student from UON Chiromo. So, in that order, you will sort yourself out and help us have one to pray for us. After the prayers, we'll have the rapporteurs for yesterday, Danfon and Petit, to give us a recap of today's yesterday's event. Then they'll hand over the mic to today's rapporteurs, Aisha and Madam Jacinta. Then from there, we'll start our today's session, and we'll see how the days progress. So thank you so much, and let us have a lovely day.
A very good morning to you all. In honor of heaven, let's all rise for a word of prayer. We are praying, Heavenly Father, Lord in heaven, this blessed morning we come unto you, Lord, with gratitude, thanking you for the gift of life that you granted unto us, Lord Father in heaven. We are great sinners, Lord Father in heaven. How do we pray that may you forgive us our sins, dear Lord Father in heaven? This blessed morning, Father, we want to commit this conference unto thy able hands as we continue for the second day, Lord Father in heaven. We pray that, Lord Father in heaven, today's discussion, may it be of great productive unto us, Lord Father in heaven. And above all, Lord, we pray that may you open up our minds so that we may understand what we're going to be taken through, Lord Father in heaven. Dear Lord Father in heaven, these morticians, Lord Father in heaven, we pray that may you bless us, Lord, for the good work that they are doing and to serving humanity, Lord Father in heaven. As we start, Lord Father in heaven, we pray for your praises to be with us, to guide us all through. For this is our humble prayer. We pray, believing and trusting in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
So thank you so much, Sydney. We'll welcome Kasiti to give us a report for yesterday. Equally, I'm communicating this to those who didn't get stationaries yesterday. You can see me. Those who didn't get. For all of us who got yesterday, we are sorted. If your book is filled, you can ask for one. But we're not giving it every day. That's the communication I'm communicating. So if you didn't get yesterday, kindly see me.
Good morning. Good morning. Kila mtu ananiona. Najua mimi niko mdark sana. Si ndio? This is what happened yesterday. Conference, Mapake conference, the fourth conference. Registration was going on and receiving of visitors. MC, Master of Ceremony, was Bedit Nganga. National anthem was sung, conducted by Meshak Nyetich, Team Lead, North Rift Division. Prayer, opening prayer, was said by Danfon Kasiti. International visitors were introduced by Bedit Nganga, that is Simon, Edith, and Gift. Also, Madam Wekesa Angela was introduced by Bedit Nganga. We had an open introduction, which was done by every delegate that was present. The chairperson was introduced by Bedit Nganga, and he welcomed all the members and international visitors to feel at home. He said that in this annual conference, you have to learn something before you leave this place. The Word of God. The Word of God and encouragement was done by Reverend Pastor Kenneth Muridi. The theme of the day being balanced life. He said that your profession is like other professions. Mortician, you have to honor your Lord, that is God. Several verses were read and exploited. James from the Bible, James 4, chapter 4, verse 6 was read. Never be proud. God hates the proud people. Live with compassion. Guard your heart with the Word of God. The work that you are doing is not your own work, but it is God's work. God is the Father for all, he said. You are doing the work of God that will send you to do for the people who have died. The truth be your foundation. You will be free if you say the truth. Then he prayed the prayer of intercessory. The following visitors were introduced by the chair. We had Kibet from MTRH. We had Mercy from Kudea. We had Deputy Principal, Madam Lillian Tesire from KNH, MTR, sorry. We had Lillian Wanyendo from I've forgotten the place, but in Nairobi is a gynecologist from Nairobi. The chairperson also introduced the NEC officers. Catherine Jenga had apology. Felix was present. Brenda had apology. Alois Manyu was present. Danfon Kasitu was present. And Pedit Nganga was present. Our chair had a speech as pertaining Mapake progress. He thanked all the facility that are offering mortuary science and practice. That is Chiromo, Masinda Mudiru University, MTRH, Uzima University, KMTC, and other facilities that are offering mortuary science and practice. The chair welcomed Deputy Governor, Sinkishu County, and we had Minister for Usinkishu County. They were welcomed by our able chairperson. The Minister for Usinkishu said that all the morticians are doing good work and are doing good work to make the funeral services better. He promised to develop more mortuaries in this county because they just have only one mortuary which is having a lot of bodies. So in future they will construct or they will build 4 mortuary bodies to serve the community. The Deputy Governor thanked Mapake team for the good work that they are doing. He also met KEPSA team for mortuary science standards. He said the governor is on another duty, so he's not present in this room. Deputy Governor said that the mortuary receiving very many bodies and even international. So he's emphasizing he has to make more mortuaries in this county. The county is also preparing scheme of service for morticians. The deputy also appreciated the Mapake Association with 50,000 to enable the conference flow positively. And then we went for break. Standard operational on funeral services said by Nekesa Angela. He talked of technical committees, and the committee was introduced. The Mapake team is under Elikana Minami. KH Poa for licensing, handling of bodies, SOPs, tools used in mortuary. We should use our tools in mortuary in a right way. Importance of standardization. Professional, dignity, public health, safety, building trust in community, flow of regulations in Kenya. It was they were among what we discussed. And also maintenance of mortuary equipment, staff training through CMEs, staff rotation, data keeping, have in the internal audit. Dr. Churchill Edith told us what is happening in USA. It is quite different from our normal mortuaries. Most of mortuaries in USA are using digital ways of admission of bodies, body transporting, and other services are being used in digital ways. Also use of websites. He talked of websites that are being used. If you want to bury a body, maybe you go on websites for USA, then you get a place for burial. So mostly in Kenya, we are not doing the way the USA is doing. So we shall learn more from Dr. Edith. He appreciated the Mapake Association with laptop. Can we say thank you? We had a clinical Paul. He talked about mental illness which is for all. She gave a contact number. Make your work limit. Do not overwork yourself. Tell other people what you do for your daily bread. We have some people who don't tell people that I'm working in a mortuary. Other people are thinking that you are a doctor somewhere. You have to tell your people what do you do for your daily bread. Support others in your community. Support others in your church. Support others where you come from. May Almighty God bless you.
Thank you, Kasiti, for that. It was an elaborative recap for yesterday, and you've driven it home quite well. You only forgot that yesterday Reverend Father Ken left us with a quote that, remember, in everything, mortuary table is the equalizer. Ni mimi nilisikia hiyo peke yangu. Did we hear that yesterday? Yes, that you remember in everything, the mortuary table is the equalizer. And we are the managers of those tables. We deserve a clap. That in continuum of care, we are the last responders. And that is a great honor. Today, the program is a bit tight, and we apologize for starting late. We never intended it. And because I'm a teacher, and in every setting, it's only the teacher and the parents who deserves the children to be better than them. And I have one of my better students with us today. Aisha, come over. Let's give Aisha a better clap. Let's clap for her. And my students knows that I love them so much. And I'm delegating my duties today to Aisha. And Aisha will be a repertoire for us today. I respect you. Naz.
Thank you very much, Madam Jacinta. And for the mentorship that you have continued giving me and several others for the past 3 years. Yes. So without further ado, let's get back to the program. Today. We'll start with the forensic science as a catalyst for modern mortuary operations. This will be presented by Dr. Boicano, District 12 Governor of the... 2 more minutes? Okay. So as we wait for Dr. Boicano, I would request the National Chair, Mortuary and Allied Professionals Association of Kenya, Mr. Elkanah Mwinami, to say a word.
Good morning. Hiyo sauti iko na nguvu leo. I'm sure we have new people who've reported in today. I want to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves as the governor of the 12th district is preparing his team. If you know you've come in today, please simama tu. There is one special guest I've seen, huyo atakuwa wa mwisho. But I know we have people who've reported in today. Tuna mnatafute na nawaona. Just stand wherever you are. We have that other microphone. Hakuna mtu ameripoti leo? Good. Sasa kwa sababu mulikuja mmechelewa na nawabembeleza na mtaki kukuja, Karanja we kaa chini. Hao watu wengine kujeni mbele. Martin, come. Tito, you know I can see you. Kujeni haraka. Where is the other one? I saw somebody else.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Chair. My name is Titus. I work at Lee Funeral Home.
Those that are still unattached. Sawa. Tunataka kusimama najua wote mahali wako.
Good morning. How are you? It's good to join you always. My name is Martin.
Good morning. My name is Abisage. I'm a mortuary science student. It's a pleasure to be part.
Karanja, I will allow you to introduce yourself where you are.
Morning, everyone. Karanja Patrick is my name. I work with the Workers Union, Nairobi County. Thank you, and I'm happy to be with the team.
I think I've captured all. Iko mwingine mwenye sioni? Okay. So feel welcome. I think the program can now run.
Okay, as we wait for the South African team, Dr. Boykano and co, to prepare, I would like to acknowledge all learning institutions that are present today. As an alumni of the University of Nairobi and the Kenya Medical Training College, Nairobi, I would like to acknowledge the presence of KMTC Nairobi. Where you are, kindly stand We applaud you. KMTC Nairobi. I'm still seeing some of you seated. KMTC Nairobi. Kate. Are you shy? I'm not seeing some people when I saw them here yesterday. Mbuvi, yes. KMTC Nairobi. Vincent. Who else is seated? Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you very much for attending the 4th annual Morticians and Allied Professionals Association of Kenya annual conference. Let's go to the University of Nairobi students. I'm standing. And alumni. Stanley, you're not an alumni of the University of Nairobi, the only university with an article there. What are you still sitting? Why are you still sitting in an alumni? 75% in attendance are actually alumni of the University of Gloria. Masinde Molero. Okay. Let's give them a round of applause. We move to the Masinde Molero University of Technology. I'm also an alumni. Science and technology. Amka, get up. A round of applause, and thank you for attending. That is where our chairman is an alumni from, and also KMTC Nairobi. I don't know why you didn't stand. You're still a student. Yes, yes. Which other school? The MT. Oh, Uzima. Uzima University. All alumni of, all students, current students, and alumni of Uzima University. Stand. Gloria. Be proud of where you've gone to school. A round of applause. MTRH. The principal was here yesterday, right? MTRH. MTRH. Even the alumni. Yes, stand, be proud. A clap. We have newcomers. Spring International. Spring International. Yes. Avenue. Avenue, yes. JFC, Munene. That's all, huh? Thank you very much for attending this year's conference. I hope you learn a thing or two. Without further ado, I would like to welcome Dr. Boykano and team. It's Sambona. Share the job.
Habaria Asibuhi. I can feel now I'm at home in Kenya, Eldoret. I can also speak Swahili. Thank you very much. Chairman of Mapake Executive Committee, International Relations Ambassador, Dr. Edie Churchman, Gift Maponyani, a member of Under 40 International Funeral Directors and Morticians Association, MJ Pofolo, a member of International Funeral Directors and Morticians Association, also executive member of South African Directors and Morticians Association, and also an education committee in the United States of America. Miss DeSante, I think that's a big lady of University of Nairobi. Is DeSante, ne? Am I right to say DeSante? That's name. Yeah. Mr. Alois. Are you here, Alois? Is Alois? Thank you very much, my buddy. And Sister Petite, she's here. Oh, thank you very much. You are so beautiful today, eh? Yesterday you were beautiful, but today you are wow. And my colleagues, good morning. I met Alois, I think, is it 10 years ago? Yeah, in South Africa. We had a good time. But I'm not going to tell them what happened. I'll keep quiet. Is it okay? Thank you very much. As a district governor of International Funeral Directors and Morticians Association, I'm humbled and I'm very happy to be here today with you. One of my work or my job is to connect countries. Let me just repeat it again. One of the job that I'm doing is to connect countries, especially the morticians or the funeral undertakers. As you know, somebody will come and visit here and passed on in Kenya, and he's from South Africa. But the laws are not the same. They need this and that and that and that, and then sometimes people become so confused. Now that is my job, to make sure that the funeral undertakers or association in that country are connected with other countries so that things can be easier for them to remove body to other countries, to another countries. Are we together there? Secondly, as I do this job, I have traveled a lot of countries in Africa. Ghana is one of the countries that I traveled, Nigeria, South Africa, where I come from, Botswana, Lesotho, Togo, Chad, Eswatini, Cameroon, Malawi, Mozambique. And up to now, all these countries and others, they are part of this huge, big, the International Funeral Directors Morticians Association in the United States. Our headquarters is in Atlanta. Dr. Churchman, she's my boss. Everywhere I do, everything I do, I report everything to her, and she reported to our headquarters in Georgia, Atlanta. Now, we are here today in Eldoret to meet you to see you and to connect you with the world. As from today, what I am going to say today, mark my word, 2026, this association, which is Mapake, will one of these countries or member of this huge organization, the International Funeral Directors Morticians Association. 2, I'm busy building, Dr. Churchman. I'm building. And I know you are going to help me to build this very fast and very quick. I'm busy building a relationship between us and Mapake. When I was here yesterday, I was looking and checking and talking. I saw one of the students here. Then I said to myself, 2026, I want to invite that student to come to South Africa for at least 60 days, which is 2 months. Secondly, the flight, because she's not going to work to come to South Africa, by the way, she must fly. 2, accommodation. 3, food and entertainment in South Africa. She mustn't worry about that. I'll take care. And then I've talked to my wife yesterday evening. I said, man, this is the story. And then she said, do you know that person? I said, no. Then she asked me, is a man or is a lady? I said, man, I can't answer you now. I'll answer you a little bit later. And then she said, okay, I'm also going to give you an answer later. I said, whoa. Then I'm in trouble. Then within 10 minutes, I called her again. I said, oh, yes. I thought I thought he's a man. But no, she's a lady. I said, wow. Can you show me her photo, please? I said, oh, yes, I'll do that. But fortunately, I had some few photos, by the way. And then I show her the photo. She said, no, that one, she's okay, she can come. And her name is Virginia Mugane. I think she's from Murunga. Is that the girl? Wow. Now, you said to me this year you will never come to South Africa because you don't have a passport and you are still at school. But you are finishing in December or October. But next year you are coming. Mark my word. On the 2nd January 2026, you are going to get a call. It's either from me or from my wife asking you, what time are you coming? Because that's the one that is going to arrange everything for you. Dr. Churchman, we are building. We are connecting. Mark my word, when you come back from South Africa, you are going to change a lot of things in this organization. Secondly, we've got a lady here. Her name is Gift Gugu. She's not so beautiful, but she's fine. Secondly, she's single. thirdly, if you are a man and you want, please come and see me. Then I'll organize everything for you. Don't worry about lobola. Don't worry about lobola. That one will negotiate, by the way. You are just going to bring very few Kenyan shilling, very few. Less than 500, no, not that, that's too much, my brother. 500, only 500. Or you bring only 4 bottles of this water, then you'll get here. Is it okay? Now, I'm not going to waste a lot of time. I was just trying to introduce myself to you, one, and to connect this association internationally. 3, I've got a lady here, Gift. She's a member of Under 40 internationally, because I saw here there's a lot of Under 40s. Then she's going to say something about Under 40. I don't know what they are doing. I don't know what they are saying. I don't know what they are. But she will say to you now, I'm going to give her only 3, 4, 5 minutes to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then from there, I'm going to give you a guy, an educator, a wise young boy, a radical guy, a man that he does things happened. Mujalefa. That's the one that is going to tell you about the item that is in the program for today. Is it okay? Are we together? Ma'am, can you stand up, please? Now you are so beautiful, I can see. Now people are going to clap hand, I can see. Now the president is going to be a little bit crazy, I can see. Now everybody is going to laugh, I can see. Especially the single moon. Over to you, my sister.
Good morning. Good morning. Yo, I'm shy. My name is Guguletu Maponyane from Samambu Funeral Group in South Africa. Just waiting for my presentation. Yes, I am. Well, let me continue. I have a saying here. It says, you must never limit yourself to the other's imagination. Being a director in the under 40 is quite difficult. It's quite a large responsibility that you carry. But in today's age, it's about bridging the traditions and approaching the sacredness of our work, and also serving the families with compassion and the excellence of today. It reflects the commitment of leadership at a very young age and the hard work that opened doors at a very early age. For me, it means walking both with courage, grace, and remembering that that it's about serving others in their most vulnerable moments. This is how I found myself in the association of 40 and under 40. It is formed in the US and it gives us an opportunity to connect to our elders. At the same time, creating a space for us as young ones to create a voice in this industry. Well, I can say it's never easy. From me to you, I'd like to say trust the process and asante sana. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my sister. MJ, come. MJ, come. MJ, come. MJ, connect. MJ, come. MJ, connect. You are so beautiful now, eh? You've changed so quick. Are you done, my buddy? 2 minutes is too much. 1 minute. 30 seconds left. 20 minutes, 20 seconds left. You are done. Thank you very much. Over to you, my buddy.
Thank you very much, Chief Simon Bikanyo, our district governor. Technology has its ways of disappointing when you most need it. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As mentioned by Ntate Bikanyo, my name is Mojala Fapofolo and I'm from South Africa. As mentioned, I sit in those different portfolios in terms of the funeral industry. Maybe before I get into the item of the day, allow me to speak about the funeral industry in South Africa and give you just a small, maybe view or preview for those that have not experienced the South African market. Now, in South Africa, I would say 100% of the funeral businesses are independently owned. Now, when I say 100%, there is mortuaries in our hospitals, but those mortuaries are purely for holding bodies when people pass on in hospitals. When a person passes on at home from natural causes, an independent funeral parlor is called to come and do the removal of the body, and the body is stored with an independent undertaker until the time when the funeral must happen. When a person has passed on at hospital, the body is kept at the hospital until the family appoints a funeral parlor that must do the funeral service. Now, we also have what we call forensic pathology. Now, the forensic pathology in South Africa, it's where all unnatural causes or unnatural deaths are taken to before the family appoints an undertaker. They then would do the autopsies, they would do the postmortems, as some of us, or as we loosely say it in English. It's done by the forensic pathologists. Should it happen that I am not happy about the death of a loved one, we then get people that we call independent pathologists that can do the autopsies or the postmortem for you at a cost. The ones that I have mentioned that I say are state-owned are done at the cost of government. That is the difference in terms of how they lay out or how the funeral homes work in South Africa. That being said, I was tasked to speak about forensic science as a catalyst for modern mortuary operations. I have prepared a document, ladies and gentlemen. This document is based on research and some of the things that have happened. Allow me to read as I speak to you about it. Forensic science is the application of scientific knowledge and methods to legal matters such as criminal or civil cases to establish facts and present impartial evidence in court. It involves analyzing and interpreting various types of physical evidence from crime scenes, often drawing a broad range of scientific disciplines, including biology, chemistry, physics, computer science. Forensic scientists play a role in collecting evidence, performing analysis and testifying as expert witnesses to help judges and juries understand the complex scientific information. Now, with the understanding and bringing it closer to home, this particular job in South Africa is done by pathologists working for government. They are done on unnatural causes. They are done on natural deaths, unnatural causes. They are done on unnatural deaths, and in those times when those unnatural deaths happen and there needs to be a case, then these experts are called in to come and participate in those court rulings or court that would have taken place. The importance of mortuary operations in the context of public health and legal investigations. Ladies and gentlemen, forensic morgue is a specialized facility where deceased individuals undergo autopsies and the examinations to determine the cause and manner of death. These facilities, of course, are usually part of coroner's office or medical examiner office, where forensic pathologists and tools and technologies to assist the forensic pathologists, medical examinations and analysis, ensuring that such investigations is thorough and scientifically sound. Now, when I speak here about coroners, I'm taking it away from South Africa. We know that we find coroners in the US, and that is where this piece has come from. Thank you. We speak of the evolution of the mortuary practice, ladies and gentlemen. Mortuary practices have evolved significantly over time, influenced by factors such as technological advancements, cultural exchanges, changes in societal values. For example, the introduction of Christianity in Europe led to a shift from pagan burials practices to Christian funeral rites. Thank you. How forensic science emerged as a discipline, ladies and gentlemen. The evolution of the forensic science reflects a journey from basic observational techniques to sophisticated scientific methodologies as technology advances. Forensic science will likely continue to adapt, enhancing its effectiveness in solving crimes and delivering justice. The ongoing development of new tools and techniques will play a crucial role in shaping the future of forensic investigation. Again, here we speak about the issue of DNAs in matters. In South Africa recently, we had, I don't know if it reached as far as Kenya, we had a number of what we call zamazamas, who are informal miners in closed or shut mining shafts in our area. Most recently, 78 of them were found dead underground, and they were brought up, but because of the state of decomposition, because of the time that the bodies were there, there was a lot of difficulty in being able to identify them for their families. That is where scientific experts, DNAs, fingerprints on those that still could be found, fingerprints on their hands, were used, and it was a very intense program. Our funeral home was tasked with burying a few, if not about 20, of those that were deceased. The conditions, ladies and gentlemen, were really, really not in a state of goodness. It was beyond. Forensic science often is confused with criminalistics. Is the application of science principles and methods to support decision-making related to rules or law, generally, specifically criminal or civil law. During criminal investigations in particular, it is governed by the legal standards of admissible evidence and criminal procedure. Bringing it back to those zamazamas, we then had to, because they are illegal miners, ladies and gentlemen. There is obviously an inquest that is created or opened with the police, and once that inquest is opened, their information will then be part of the case. To those that were found alive, these people or the deceased were some of the people that were then used as their identity was used to say there were 78, 12 argumentally were found alive, but they form part of that particular case. Key areas of forensic science relevant to the mortuary operations. Mortician investigators are often professionals who combine investigative skills and the knowledge of mortuary science to determine the causes of death. They assist in forensic investigations or ensure proper handling of remains. They may work closely with law enforcement, medical examiners, and funeral homes. Junior roles focus on assisting with the investigations and learning procedures, while senior roles involve leading investigations, mentoring junior staff, and managing complex cases. Again, I bring it back to the Zamazamas, where we had mortician investigators, where they assisted in the complexness of the case. Because what then happens, ladies and gentlemen, if we just take it, I take it a little bit further. Some of the families were saying, the people have died because government had stopped or didn't want to supply the illegal miners with food. So they were saying that the cause of death was the responsibility of government. They wanted to make a class action against government. So the determination of the cause of death by these people then will assist on the cases that are being put against government to say, but it was not our fault. In fact, from the 78, I can confirm 14 of them were found with bullet holes. So meaning that they were murdered by their fellow counterparts underground when they were obviously fighting for what they were mining. Importance of accurate cause of death. Now this is what I'm talking about. The significance of the results of those DNAs, the results of those postmortems, etc. At its core, the forensic autopsy is a systematic examination of the body to determine the cause and manner of death. This process is not only crucial in criminal investigations, but also in understanding natural deaths, accidents, and potential public health concerns. Overview: genetic research has come a long way. Since the early days of DNA discovery, today scientists can analyze the complete genetic makeup of an organism with incredible speed and accuracy, unlocking insights that were once unimaginable. The transformative shift is largely due to the advances in next-generation sequencing, a cutting-edge technology that has revolutionized the field of genomics. Thank you very much. How these techniques enhance the accuracy and efficiency of mortuary operations. The technology used has enabled breakthroughs in medicine, agriculture, and environmental science, providing researchers with the tools to decode the complex language of life. The predictions on how forensic science will continue to shape mortuary operations in a world that is rapidly becoming more digitized and complex. The field of forensic science is undergoing a radical transformation. As we step into 2025, forensic science is no longer just about fingerprints and DNA swabs. It's about artificial intelligence, predictive analytics, a high-resolution visual reconstructions. The integration of cutting-edge technology is helping investigators close cases faster and reduce human error and uncover evidence in ways never before possible. If you just go on Google and check particularly what are the implications of the cutting-edge technology that is being introduced. In the US, there's a case of a husband that murdered the wife in 1977, and only in 2023, because of cutting-edge technology, ladies and gentlemen, was the case closed and the husband was finally sent to jail. My time is up, and I thank you for yours. God bless.
Thank you very much. Don't go, don't go. Just wait. Any question? Any clarity? The time is yours to ask any question. Somebody can come and help us here? Mr. Chan, not you, please.
Thank you so much. A friend from South Africa. The name is too complicated. It's called Polo. OMJ. That's the easiest one. Thank you so much for quite a good presentation there. At least now we've known how the mortuary, the funeral parlors work back in the South Africa. We've known also that at least there is state-owned, apart from the individualized and private ones. Like for Churchman here, theirs was started in 1899, family one. So we appreciate that. Mostly in Kenya, we find that we have state-owned. The major one is Kenyatta Hospital, of which it is a hospital, and at the same time it has its own mortuary. Now it's unlike yours there, where yours is only for holding bodies. So my question is, when somebody dies and the person is whole there, no preservation, nothing is done on the body. That's my assumption. One. Then secondly, if this person has to go through autopsy, is the autopsy done at the hospital where the body is being held? For example, it's a natural death for the forensic cases, or is it done to the private hospital? That's number one. Now, on the part of your presentation, the forensics, we find that the morticians play a major role when it comes to forensics. And it has to start with custody. Yeah? When the person dies and the person is brought into our mortuary, as the mortuary that the person is brought in there, for example, we have higher institution learning that also run mortuaries, like the University of Nairobi has the Chiromo Funeral Parlor, where I'm privileged to be like the manager. The other side, you call it the directors. As we call it managers, you can call it director, you can call it superintendent. So they are the ones now in charge of the funeral home. So we have a superintendent at the Kenyatta National Hospital, which is the biggest hospital for Kenya. And it has its own mortuary. So when a person dies in the ward, everything is done there. Unless the person wants to transfer, maybe to private wings. So the mortuary people, you have to know that you are the first liner when it comes to forensics, in terms of the custody. All the items that the person comes in with, it also helps when it comes to maybe investigations like DNA, and to get real justice, maybe for like rape cases or anything. So when a person comes, you have to identify everything that that person has, and you have to itemize it, and you have to hand it over to the investigating team to help in that forensic. So I think with that, maybe I've talked about chain of custody. Maybe you'll just help in answering whether you do your postmortems for the forensics in the holding area, if you have institutionalized mortuaries, if you have higher learning education mortuaries like the universities who work closely with the medical students. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You know, technology, when you need it, it will always do this. But I wanted to answer your question with a picture. In South Africa, ladies and gentlemen, embalming is only done when a body is repatriated out of the country. That's the only time that we do it. Unless it's a government official that is going to lie in state for 3-4 days and not being preserved. And when I say preserved, I know that when we are here, we preserve by the form of embalming. In South Africa, it is standard practice to have a cold room. There is no body that is not put in a cold room. When a person dies, the body is immediately sent to an undertaker who has a cold room, who's got fridge facilities. When I say a cold room, I'm saying a fridge, a walk-in where the minimum temperature legally is between 0 and 5 degrees Celsius. It's a requirement. In fact, for you to have an operating certificate in South Africa, the first condition is for you to have a refrigerator connected to a generator in case the power goes out, and then they come and inspect your building. That is one of the most critical things. So when you walk into a funeral home in South Africa, you will see that the first thing that you see when you get into the mortuary, it's a certificate of competence that is called the COC, which is issued by the Department of Health to say, yes, we have come to MJ's funeral home. We are happy about the facilities that they have, meaning that they are happy particularly about the cold rooms and other things that go with a regulation called Regulation 363, which is our governing regulation in South Africa in order to operate or have premises for funeral business. That is the first question. The second question around whether who does the autopsies or the postmortems. We have private doctors that do them, but us as undertakers do not do postmortems. We do not do autopsies. The custodians of that particular thing is the government through the forensic department. They've got forensic pathologists that are employed by government that do particularly postmortem on a daily basis. For a hospital like ours in the area that I come from, we call it a referral hospital. So there is hospitals that are nearby that send people to our hospital when they cannot deal with the particular illness in their area. So when they are sent there, it's a massive hospital that we have, though it's smaller than the one in Gauteng, the Baragwanath. But the one that we have is massive, and it can accommodate, I think, up to 400 or 500 bodies, if I'm correct, at a go. But in the same breath, the pathologists there are the ones that will then do the postmortems, that will then do the investigations that are required. They are the police officers in conjunction with them. They would do the postmortem, get whatever that they need to get, and send it through to their forensic labs in conjunction with the investigating officer around whatever matter that is being investigated. Thank you very much. I don't know if everything is answered. All right. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen. So these are the cold rooms that we have in South Africa. So if you can see, some of them would be individual doors, as we see in the movies. A lot in the movies, you will see them that you open just one individually. Some of them would be a big door that would have like 3 storage facilities. Others would literally be just a door, and you can walk into them, and you would have your bodies stacked in that room. Oh, okay, I've stepped on it again. Do you want to just come out? Open this one, please. So this is the one I'm talking about. You walk into a cold room, and you have this, if you can see, those are cold blowers in the background there that blow the cold air. And these are actually literally bodies that you see in there that are put individually into those drawers. Now, I mentioned the issue of forensic pathology. It's just when the pixels on this picture is not so well, but you can see it says Gauteng Forensic Pathology Services. So this is now a removal of unnatural case. Maybe this person has, 1, committed suicide, 2, has been killed, or whatever the situation might be. We as the undertakers don't go and pick those bodies up. The government vehicles from the pathology will then go out and pick up those bodies, and they are preserved or put into plastics and then shifted to the pathology services center or the forensic pathology. Now, this is a typical pathology, government-owned facility where I think here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 10 autopsies can be performed at the same time. So these obviously individual tables will be where the different pathologists will then perform the autopsies or perform the postmortems. Sorry, I'm going fast through the pictures. I just would like you to see all of them and see how it's done. Open this one. Okay, it's the first one. Now here, we can see the person here, his name is Gary, and he's written searcher. This is usually at a disaster site. Where there's a disaster, expectation would be that there should be properly PPE'd so that when DNA matters are done, they do not contribute to whatever DNA that is on site. So when they are dressed like this, they are covered, their faces are covered, masked, they've got glass, they can then obviously perform better or get better results from the DNAs or whatever that is being done. So this is a setup where there's a body there, there's one laying here, and they are searching a disaster area. Thank you very much, Barbara. I don't know if there's any more questions. There's a hand at the back there. I don't know, somebody can help. Thank you. This side, my brother.
Hello everyone. Good morning. Daktari, good morning. Okay, my name is Oliver. I'm from Hola Referral Hospital. Okay, I had just some 2 questions. Okay, it's about us morticians. Mostly we are basically tasked with the preservation of the bodies after the autopsy. So there's been a bigger challenge for us, especially in how we handle the water-drowned bodies. So I just wanted to understand from your perspective in South Africa, because for the water-drowned bodies, in most cases, you'll find that they are decomposed, and then it's usually held with a lot of maggots. So I don't know if maybe in your side there's a specific type of chemical that you use in how to handle those maggots, because it's a big challenge for us in the facilities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think in different areas, different people use different things. And I don't want to be on record being the way that I do it. But there is definitely different ways to do it. I think the team from the US would be positioned ways and techniques of doing those preservation. As we say, one of the critical factors that we use in South Africa, maybe, if I don't give you the technique that I use, but in fact, let me tell you, we take petrol, 95 petrol, and put it on top of the body. Just don't light it, please. And it does wonders. That's what we use in my funeral home. So when we have that, we use it. Thank you. So it is similar to what we are using. So I'm saying to you, one of the critical factors is just I did not take pictures of my funeral home. What we do one of the other things we do is we've got a cold room that is set from 0 to 5 as per legislation. Because we are also contracted to the very hospital I'm talking about, that when they are overcrowded and they would then send bodies to our funeral home. We also have a second cold room, which is a freezer. This one is set at -25. So we would then take the body, literally just shift it there, freeze it. There's no maggot that does not get frozen, my brother. Everything will get frozen in there. It's just that when you do that, make sure that the body is prepared in such a manner that when finally the time comes for it to be buried, you don't need to start working on the head to be straight. You don't need to do all those things. It must be positioned in such a manner that from the freezer into the box to the graveyard, because usually such bodies we don't. Thank you very much. Thank you. In the absence of more questions, thank you very much for the opportunity given. My time is up. There's a question, I think, or a comment or something. Lovely sister.
For my lovely sister from South Africa, we thank you so much for reminding us and the people here, the young tax under 40s. Actually, I also joined the mortuary when I was under 40. I was 30 there. That's when I joined. But now you are bringing in an aspect of like there, you are treated special. You have under 40. Yeah? So is this under 40? Is it young people who are professions in the mortuary, in the funeral homes, or, okay, when I say professionals, we have both directors in the morticians, yeah? So you are under 40s, what does it entail? Are you overhaul professionals working in the mortuary as under 40, ladies, or what? Thank you.
Well, in my mortuary, the oldest person is 43, and I am 31 as an owner of a mortuary. So it's not specific that you are just employing people. It's also modernizing the funeral industry. You wouldn't find Rebi Ganyo saying we should put up, presentation was up, I would show you, Rebu Gang wouldn't put up, like, decorate a funeral service with a minion for a baby funeral service, but we would do professionally. So under 40 is literally just having to professionalize that, being able to decorate this funeral service, personalizing to the person that is deceased, but also keeping it in the traditions and customs of our traditions. So we don't employ just under 40s. It's just us as young directors being able to be licensed at our age, to own a mortuary at our age, and make it there today. Thank you.
Are we done? Mr. Chairman, asante sana. Asante sana.
Is it Giamboga Kakulu or is it Gibonga Kakulu? Giabonga Kakulu. Q in Zulu.
Maybe just to comment on what Simon shared with us earlier on. in terms of connecting ourselves to the NFDMA. Simon, we had started the process on our own. We didn't know the route. We are glad that the governor is here. Now we are going to come back to the governor. I know we had done an official communication, NFDMA, in terms of the partnership. But now that you are here, and one of the directors is also here, I think by the time you are going, we will have that discussion and find the better ways of formalizing it. So we are grateful. Maybe for those of us who don't understand what the statement that Simon did here, would try and relate with what he's going to do for Virginia, especially for you students. Because what Virginia is going to get, I think it's going to be life-changing. And for us as an organization, we want to say we are grateful. And this partnership will have to see the light of the day. Thank you very much.
In order to say thank you in our Kenyan way, I would like to invite the manager of the biggest referral hospital, East and Central Africa, funeral home with the largest capacity, storage capacity, right? Dr. K. Kimengich.
Thank you. Aisha Kariuki, thank you so much. On behalf of the team, I would wish to appreciate the presenters from South Africa. Maybe Babs, you can stand. The presenters from South Africa, starting Jay, the county director, and the Madam Huku Mabango. So on behalf of the team, we are very grateful. Thanks for your wonderful presentation. Thanks for your extending again the Kesha to the Kenya. Thanks again for the warm welcome to Virginia, to South Africa. The reward you've given Virginia, you've rewarded Kenyans. So we need to appreciate. It is not Virginia alone. It is not Mabaki, but this is a blessing to Kenyans. Are we together? So on behalf of the team, we want to say thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. But beside that, there is what we call locomotive appreciation. So I know in South Africa there is actually a train. So, and you know how train actually goes. Are we together? It's a locomotive. So we want to approach them in a locomotive way. So allow me to show you this. I just a demo. So if I do slow, you increase. As I increase, you increase the claps. Are we together? So now, can you demonstrate? Aya, 1. Now. So that was a demo. Are we together? So let's go to the real SOP. So I want to say thank you, the county director, the young lady under 40, and MJ. So 1, 2. Thank you so much.
Tisana, thank you very much. I would like to recognize the presence of Kutheha. I've said it right, right? The representative of Kutheha. Oh, the presenter. Oh, my apologies. There's a presentation from Kutheha. Clap for them as they come.
Morning everyone again. My name is Karanja Patrick. As I said, I am the Kutheha branch secretary in Nairobi, and I'm here on behalf. If you look at your program, we have Brother Kenneth Meme, who apparently was not able to make today's meeting. and I'm here on behalf of our Secretary General, and I will request before I request I be allowed to read his speech, which was supposed to have been read yesterday, so that we can do our brief presentation. Personally, I'm honored to be in this meeting. I also believe lack of knowledge, sometimes the community you people serve, because of lack of knowledge, they have a very negative perception. But nowadays, the role you people are undertaking is so crucial, it's so important that people have now come up and started embracing the work you guys are undertaking. So maybe when you find some kind of negative perception, please bear with it. I also belong to the same community you belong, and I always say when I'm before a huge crowd that I belong to the endangered species. So when we interact, please take care of me. We have a session. I've seen there is a session for the DCI. They can bear me witness that we are somehow marginalized to an extent when maybe a certain arrest is undertaken and maybe the people are taken to the police station, maybe the officer commanding the station would ask, how many people have you arrested? And they will always say, I have arrested 10 and 1 Mokorino. So we are not perceived to be as if we are human. We are like others. So we also, that is why I'm requesting you to take courage when you are undertaking your laws, because whatever you are doing is so crucial to the community that we cannot do without you. The clients you represent are the voiceless, and they don't complain. When you go out there, you find there's a demarcation for the ladies and for the gents. But you people, the client you serve, who never complain, there's no demarcation. And you serve them with the dignity they deserve. So we appreciate the role you guys undertake. So, Arau, I read the speech that was to be read yesterday. Good morning, distinguished guests, colleagues and friends. I'm deeply honored to stand before you today on behalf of our Secretary General to extend our greeting and solidarity to this important gathering. Allow me first to congratulate the organizers of this 4th annual and inaugural Morticians Scientific Conference for bringing us together under such a timely and inspiring theme, integrating forensic science and ethics in advancement of standard mortuary practice. This theme resonates deeply with the values we hold as a trade union representing workers in the health, the same issue, technology, challenges. This theme resonates with the values we hold as a trade union representing workers in health and allied sector. Mortuary practitioners perform some of the most dignified yet challenging work in society, work that demand not only technical skill, but also compassion, professionalism, and integrity. At Kudeha, we recognize the critical role mortuary workers play in supporting families during their most difficult moments, in preserving dignity for the departed, and in ensuring that forensic standards contribute to justice and truth. That is why we have consistently advocated for safe and decent working conditions for mortuary practitioners, training and continuous professional development so that workers are empowered to embrace new technologies and standards. Mental health and psychosocial support, because the nature of the mortuary work takes an emotional toll that cannot be ignored. Ethical practice grounded in respect for human dignity, confidentiality, and fairness. Colleagues, this conference is more than a technical forum. It is also a platform to reaffirm our shared humanity as we integrate forensic science into mortuary practice. Let us not lose sight of the ethical principles that guide us. Science that guides us. Without ethical, risk losing its moral compass. But ethics with science ensures progress that benefits all. On behalf of Kudeha, I assure you of our continued partnership in advancing professional standard, defending workers' rights, and strengthening collaboration between practitioners, government, union, and academic institutions. Let this gathering renew our commitment for building a future where mortuary practice in Kenya is not only scientifically sound, but also ethically unshakable, dignified, and just. With those remarks, I wish you a fruitful deliberation and such success in your sessions ahead. Thank you. Where I come from, before your profession was adopted, and maybe when somebody passed on, there is a way we used to confirm. What they used to do, they used to throw some coins down. And when the coins are thrown down, if that person doesn't say that this money is mine, now you confirm that person has passed on. That is how we used to we used to have our morticians back then. Okay, I want to give a brief of the labor rules perspective addressing victimization in forensic related cases. The purpose is to explore how laws protect forensic and mortuary workers from victimization. As I said, you guys are being victimized. There's a lot of stigma, and people don't understand the roles you people undertake. So, one, there is always harassment and intimidation in sensitive cases, whereby, remember, the client you are dealing with, there is the emotional part of it, where people feel that you are also concealing some of the information that need to be taken or maybe to come out. There is also the issue of the stigma, whereby people feel the role you people are taking is like any other role. They feel it is not an important role. And they have a kind of fear when they are dealing with you. So as a union, we need to let you people understand that there are also provisions, there are also rules. As a union, what is it that we want maybe the workers who are working in this sector to understand that they have rights like any other Kenyan. Our constitution, the famous 2020 constitution, Article 36 and Article 41. Article 36 gives a provision for, there is a provision where there is a freedom of association. You can associate with any party or any organization. Then when you come to Article 41, talks of labor, fair labor practices, fair remuneration, fair good working conditions. When we are talking of the PPEs, they should be provided. You should work in a good, conducive environment where your work is respected, where the people we are dealing with, they respect you, the employers, and even the client and the bereaved families. They need to treat you people with the dignity that you need to be provided for. Then if you look at Section 45 of the Employment Act, it talks of protection from unfair dismissal. You should not be dismissed unfairly. The same rules that apply to every other Kenyans also applies to you people. 2, Section 5 of the Employment Act talks of discrimination. There should be equal remuneration for equal work done. You should not be discriminated as if the role you are undertaking is inferior. The role you are undertaking is as important as any other role that is undertaken or any other profession that is undertaken in this country. OSHA Act 207, Section 18 gives a provision that you should be given a safe and healthy workplaces. Unafaa upewe mazingira mazuri ama duni za utendaji kazi wenu, such that if you, as an employee, if you identify there is a concern, there is an area that need to be addressed by your employer in terms of being unsafe, if you raise that issue, you should not be discriminated. When you raise an issue of maybe lack of proper PPEs, you should be heard. You should be given your audience so that the issue could be addressed. Then, the Labor Relations Act of 2007, it gives a right for freedom to join a union, to participate on union activities, and to raise your concerns. Because at the end of the day, if you look at our curriculum, we don't have a program whereby employees are undertaken, or maybe there's an area where people are taken that after you have done your profession, when you are employed, you are never told that you will be discriminated. There is no provision for that. So we as a union, and mandated by the provisions of the law, we come in to raise issues pertaining to protections of our employees working in the other section for our scope of representation. When we are talking of addressing the victimization, there should be an enforcement of anti-retaliation and harassment policies. If you are harassed, the institutions are very good at coming up with policies, the HR policy, disciplinary policies. But when you are harassed, when you are victimized, do we have a clear policy that indicate how your issue should be raised? They should come up with a very clear policy indicating that when you have raised an issue and maybe an employer wants to retaliate, maybe a client, maybe when I'm talking of a client, I'm talking of maybe a person of the departed person, the person who have passed on, when maybe they want to harass you, do we have policies that protect you? There should be a lot of training on the rights and reporting. And when I'm talking of this training and awareness, this is an awareness that should be extended to the public so that the public can embrace the role you people are undertaking, they appreciate your role and understand why you are there and embrace what you are doing. So this training and awareness is very important, and there should be also a reporting procedures when you have issues. How are reporting done? There should be a strong grievance and reporting mechanism. For example, as a union, because we had a lot of grievances pertaining to employee-employer relationship, we always emphasize that in any institution should have a disciplinary policy.
And in that disciplinary policy, there should be clear guidelines. If you have an issue, whom do you report to? If your matter is not heard, whom do you report to next? So that at the end of the day, you don't raise an issue, and your issue is not addressed, and you are left hanging, so that you are left at the mercy of maybe the person who is subjecting you to all this harassment. And so we are talking of collaboration with justice system. Even our government, even the government we are, that is in charge of this, and the institution, do we have a clear justice? For example, if you raise an issue, your matter be addressed. So those are some of the things that we are talking about. And we also need a lot of physiosocial support and awareness program. Because at the end of the day, as my brother was raising an issue of maybe a decomposed body, you also need to be at least to be given some counseling. Are there those systems there? Are there program pertaining to the same? Because you are also a human being. So that the people should understand that wherever you are undertaking your role, you are also human, and you need to be given the support that you need. Now, where do KUDHEA comes in? KUDHEA, being a trade union, is mandated. When we talk of trade union, we have several trade unions in Kenya, and each trade union has a role, have a demarcation of the people they do represent. So, and one of our biggest role for the areas that we fall, or maybe the members who fall under our scope of representation, we advocate for decent work and fair treatment. Fair treatment is a key component to any employment. We don't want to have stigma. We don't have people to be taken as others. There should be equal treatment of all employees in all institutions or in all levels of engagement. Then we make legal representation for unfair dismissals and harassment, because when somebody is being harassed, as a union, we have a mandate, we have an obligation to do representation up to the highest court of the land. We do negotiate CBA. CBA, remember, when you are employed alone. But when we come together as a union, and maybe in any institution we have, because the law provides that when an institution that falls out of our scope of representation, we have managed to recruit 50+1 of the employees. We now sign a recognition agreement, and we commence the negotiation of the CBAs. Because the terms that when you are employed, you need to have to improve your terms. How do you improve those terms? How many people can walk into the manager's office and say, I need a salary increment, I need this other benefit? Very few. So as a union, collectively, we do negotiate CBA so that employees can have better terms. And in those CBAs, we insert clauses that assist or maybe give better terms to the employees. And we also build solidarity among other workers. So, in conclusion, victimization undermines justice and workers' rights. When you are victimized and nobody is addressing the issues, you feel inferior. So your rights are, somebody is taking advantage of your rights. Law exists but must be enforced. When we are talking of the rules, if you don't know the rules do exist, can you understand whether they are there? Can you now ask for them to be enforced? If you don't know your rights, and somebody else knows more of your right, then that person will be taking advantage because you don't know the rules that protect you. So protecting forensic workers safeguard justice and truth. When you are working in a safe, conducive environment, where you are executing your full productivity, when you are given the dignity that you deserve, then at the end of the day, whatever you be coming up with will assist in justice and truth. Then, together, union, government practitioners, and a safe future. So that is my conclusion of our presentation. And I don't know whether I have a query. In the absence of silence, it means two things. People have heard what you have said, or you have thrown them out of board completely. So thank you very much.
Let's clap for Amokorino. Thank you so much, Sir Karanja. We are so honored to have you in here. At one point I was thinking utachukua raini, but umetupeleka vizuri. We are grateful. Are we not grateful to Mr. Karanja? Wakorinos are not only known for worshiping and praising God, but now they are here educating us on things that we might have known, but known in the long way. We understand every aspect of what you have taught us, and now in that aspect of managers and remunerations, I'll call manager Madam Pamela. Ndio ukienda ufanye venye tumeambiwa na Karanja. You come here and clap for, show us how to clap to Karanja, sababu najua amekukuza. Sasa kuja. Kuja. Ndio ukienda hizo vitu wamesema za remuneration kwanza, ukisikia imeletwa kwa meza, unakuwa wana advocate. Karibu Madam Pamela.
Morning, everyone. Yes, I would like to take this opportunity to thank very much Mr. Karanja from the Kudeya on enlightening us on the aspects of the union, the labor laws that is affecting us, especially the morticians and allied professionals, and we don't take that for granted. I know many of us didn't know that even as we have labor laws that are protecting us. So now we know. So maybe going forward, we need also a union, Mr. Karanja, to fight for us. Thank you. So we're going to appreciate Mr. Karanja in a special way, and it's going to be like, we are going to like shower him with rains of flowers. You know it?
Thank you very much, Brother Karanja. We keep on partnering with Kudeya. We don't take it for granted. And I always tell our people, make use of these opportunities. Usingoje saa ile umepatikana na shida is when you are calling me, Chairman, connect me with Kudeya, please. I want to take this opportunity to introduce one of my all-time friends. Now, when you have friends who keep on checking on you, and how you are progressing, you don't ignore them. Wanaguyo kuja usalimia watu.
Good morning. I have to confirm whether it is still morning. My name is Robert Nguyo Dirango. I am a supplier of mortuary equipment and also consumables and disposables. My career, I've been a pathology scientist who have practiced for 10 years in the Nairobi hospital. So I jumped ship, and now I do supplies. One thing I would like to have really learned from here, mostly from the South African group, we need local solution for our problem. And if you can be able to go through it, then I think we can have a lot of solutions for facing us. Apart from that, maybe Kana will also give me later in the week. I can do a small presentation as we all network and see how we can help one another. Thank you very much, and Eldoret.
Thank you, Robert. I think we will break for a health break. And please, let's try and keep it brief so that we come back. We have 2 more presentations before we call it a day. 2 or 3. I think there are 2.
Thank you, Chair. And to take us to, we are those people who are accustomed to give thanks every time you have a provision. And to take us to break, now it's Mercy Njuguna from Must. Today I said it is Students' Day and Managers' Day. Mercy from Must, you can pray for a cup of tea. Let's clap for Mercy. Now this is under 20. So we'll have a class we're calling under 20. Mercy will be a team leader for under 20 Morticians.
Good morning. Let's bow our head for a word of prayer. Almighty Lord, King of Kings, thank you for bringing us up to this time. Thank you for providing us with the breakfast that you're about to take. I pray this short prayer, trusting and believing in Jesus' name. Amen. Enjoy your breakfast.
Let's clap for Mercy. It is our tradition in Kenya. We start with our guests.
I almost forgot. I want to dispense of these gifts, otherwise they might get lost in my hands. So I will request the presenters of today, please come forward. And nimeambiwa ilikuwa siku ya wanafunzi. So wanafunzi pia you pair. Wanafunzi wakuje. If there are 4, I need 4 students. Na mkipewa hizo opportunity mnakuja haraka. Si mmeona mtu alijitangaza na akapata nafasi. Na bado mnajikokota.
One from Spring, one from Chiromo, one from KMTC. KMTC Nairobi this time. One from Spring, Brenda, are you around? One from Spring, one from Must, one from Chiromo, and one from KMTC Nairobi.
Most.
A student from KMTC Nairobi. I don't want to name names. You're all mine. We have Most, we have Spring, we have KMTC Nairobi. We are looking for one from Chiromo. Kuja. And we clap. Let's clap. Thank you. Dr. Churchman sitting in for Madam Gift. She also have hers. So Simon, you come and get the gift for Gift. Churchman has hers. Kimengish, with all honors, go and present that gift. That's a good. Let's clap for Dr. Simon. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chair, for the session. Now, as I had said earlier, all our guests, you can proceed and have breakfast. That is our tradition in Kenya. Wageni wana
So the rest,
the microfinance, where most of us are, microfinance anakuja na kuambia na kupatia pesa ya haraka. Unapewa pesa ya haraka, alafu hujauliza interest ni how much. So what happens is, you find that you borrowed 100,000, but you are paying 400,000. Why? Because your time you had what? Ile agency ya pay. So you didn't remember to ask, what are the term and conditions? So I'm here to enlighten us that as we continue the journey, you need to know when you need money, ujipange ukuwa umesave ka kitu ya kwamba ukikuja kwa sako, you'll borrow it at affordable interest rate. And our interest rate is, I talked about the BOSA, that is where you stay and then you co-guarantee each other, or you have shares you want to borrow, it's 1% per month. That is 12% per annum. This microfinance, most of them, watakwambia we have very low interest rate, and the interest rate is 4% per month. Multiply 4 times 12. 4 times 12? 48%. But akikuzia atakwambia nini? Ni 4%? Ha, unasikia 4 ni kama ni kidogo sana. True or false? But you don't take time even to know, to understand, there is a flat rate and a reducing balance. Those things, sometimes sisi unajua tuko kwa science, hatuelewi sana. They don't explain to you. They will tell you it's 4%, na nyamaze. So what happens is that we have a flat rate and we have a reducing balance. A flat rate ni kumaanisha the interest imesimama. Ya kwamba even if I give you 6 months to pay, and you give me your money back in 2 months, you have to pay me interest for 6 months. Tuko pamoja? But for the reducing balance, it means that you inaenda kipunguka as you pay. And if you're to pay that money within 2 months and I have given you 6 months, it means you just pay the interest that have accrued for those 2. Tuko pamoja? So something I want you to take home is that when you want to borrow, regardless where you're borrowing, get information. Information is power. Get to understand, are you borrowing 4% in a month or in a year? Is it reducing? Is it flat rate? Sawa sawa? That is very critical. So our interest rate is 1%. That is 12% per annum. If you go to the bank, now where I said we are also a bank, the DT will give you at 14.5%. Whatever loan that you want. If you want to buy a car, if you want to buy land, if you want to do whatever you want to do, we'll give you at 14.5% on a reducing. Are we together? Because if I tell you 14.5% and it's on a flat rate, I'm talking about 18-19%. Tuko pamoja? That's why it's important to insist and understand that this interest rate, is it interest rate on reducing or flat rate? The other thing that makes us unique is that you get on your saving. We give dividends, we give interest on deposit. I talked about saving, and that's where I started. Save me today, save you tomorrow. The money, as you continue in your bank or saving it, it earns you interest every month. Last year, we gave at 14.5%. That is a dividend. We have something we call share capital. When you join in any SACCO, they'll ask you for share capital. This share capital earns you every year. Because SACCOs is like now Mapake. Mapake, when you're joining, of course, there is an amount that you need to pay. That's your share capital. Most of the organization or SACCOs, that is money they use. And after making profit, we share back to the members. Terms of dividends. And the interest is the saving that you're saving, it earns you interest, and we give it at 6.5. The other opportunity that you get with DIMCAS is that we give you investment opportunity. We have a sister company called DIMCAS Investment Company where we buy and sell land. We are not able to do everything within one umbrella because we are licensed to buy and sell money. But if you need to do an investment, we have a DIMCAS Investment Company that will assist you in getting that plot. Our plots are very affordable. We don't get to 1 million. We ensure that because SACCO members are people who have joined together within a community or within an area, we don't let them get those very high plot yenye hataweza kulipa. We want everybody to be part of the journey and part of the SACCO. So what we do, we get land, we subdivide and we give you a loan to buy, to ensure that you are returning the money. So you come in, you want to do an investment, we give you the option that we have, you buy that land, you go back to the circle, we give you money, and you pay us within a period of time. Then we also have efficient and effective digital banking. We also offer free annual member education. When you become our members, I'll come back again. I'll come to train you, not only to train you about things, the things I'm telling you about interest rates. We can have a discussion and tell you when you need to borrow, what is debt management? Because sometimes we overborrow or we underborrow. Unajua pia kuna kuunderborrow. You need 100,000 for this project, but wewe unasema mimi sitakangi kulipa pesa mingi, sitaki kulipa pesa mingi. So you borrow 80,000. What happens is that you'll borrow the 80,000, but uko na deficit ya 20. Will you be able to accomplish what you wanted? So there is over funding and over borrowing and under borrowing. So we'll come and have those annual discussion with you, which we call member education, to educate you more on matters financing. We do not have any hidden charges or rega fee. I think this is a common phrase that is done by most of the financial institutions. But you go back to your statement and find out, hey, naona tunakatwa tu vitu twingine sielewi ni nini. So it is important that as much as there is the setting language, go back to that statement and ensure unaangalia. You know, if you ukitolewa shilingi moja every day, is 30 shillings, sindio? 30 shillings in a month times 12 is how much? 30 times 12? 36 what? 100. That, ni 360. Ni 360. Multiply by 10 years. You know, kakitu kadogo unaona ni shilingi moja. Tulianza na shilingi moja. In 10 years you find it's huge money. That's why information, I said, is power. We also have the banking hall. I think I've mentioned that. This is a new institution. That's why I'm taking time to introduce it so that you understand who we are. In 2024, we closed our membership with over 39,000. We had disbursed loan worth 2.2 billion, and we had a gross loan book of 2.8 billion. We also had a share capital of 316 million, on deposit of 2.4 billion. Asset base, we close at 3.34 billion. I mentioned now we are at 3.9 billion. And our liquidity is 22.1%. According to the SASRA, they require you to be at 15%. So we are above the threshold. Then I talked about the dividend, 14% and 6.5%. This is a sectorial rating distribution. We give money to do different things. I'm here because I'm sure the partnership we are looking at is probably to own something of our Mapake. And most of our members have been able to borrow and do things to do with housing, buy land. And from our total loan book, I think that's take the highest. We also have a church investment. I talked about the churches. Could be we have pastor in the house, or we have people who are in the churches and probably you're struggling to get maybe a property to build the church, or you want to do a commercial thing, we can support you in that. We've been working on a strategic plan for the last 5 years, which came to an this year, and we're about to do a new one. In terms of our banking service, I said we are very innovative. You're struggling to see. When we bank you, I understand these members are from all over the country. So someone seated here is asking, now that you've said we only in 3 counties, how will you bank me? We'll be able to bank you because I told you we have that alternate banking channels that can help you transact regardless of where you are. And I talked about diaspora members. We are serving a huge membership in the diaspora across the world. Actually, last year we did a documentary for the diaspora people because we have people that are in the UK and every other places, and they are able to invest back home, and we partner with them and they're able to do so. So if you are in Kenya and you're in Eldoret or Mombasa and you want to join DIMCAS, do not wonder how you'll be able to bank with us. We have mobile banking platforms. Our mobile banking platform, you are able to borrow where you are. You're able to transact. And on the phone, we give 50,000 on your phone. And that money, we all know about the common and the mortuary and these other ones. We also don't consider the interest we pay back with because you are in ile agency. But when you are a member of a SACCO like Dimke SACCO, we give you at an interest of 6.5%. What am I saying? If you borrow 30,000, you return with less than 1,500. Tuko pamoja? If you borrow 50,000, you return with around 3,400 thereabout. So the calculation we don't do, nizo atufanyange because I need urgent money. Ujuangi utabidi pesa ngapi? And it is something that has really hit most of our Kenyans wamehitiwa na hizo microfinance reading. I'm not against them, they're also in business, but information is power. Just get to know what you're getting yourself in, so that you don't get yourself in a trap of so many debts because you didn't know. So our mobile platform will give you up to 50,000, and that 50,000 you're going to return it with very low interest rate. We also have pay bill, so if you want to deposit, if you want to save, you can use our pay bill numbers. We also have personalized Ripa na M-Pesa. If we, when we open the account with Mapake, the contribution can be done through that pay bill, or we can give you a till whereby you can be depositing directly. We also have a partnership with Family Bank where you can do cash remittance directly in the counter through the Family Bank. They are our main banker. Then we also have a members portal. So when you, if it's an individual account and you want to check the transaction, you want to check the statements, you can get in that website and you're able to see your transaction. We also have agents across the board whereby you are able to check or deposit the transaction that you want to do through the agents. We have partnered with bank. The good thing about SACCOs, sisi ni wakulima wadogo na wakubwa na kila mtu. So we also partner with banks to ensure that we offer this financial solution to everyone. So what happens is that if you have opened an account with us, if you go to Family Bank and say you want to bank in Dimke SACCO, you'll still bank. If you go to Equity Bank, you'll still bank. If you go to Comparative Bank, you still bank. So we have a partnership with these banks so that we give you as effortless flow of transactions. Then also we have various saving products. When you come in, we'll ensure that we show you how to save. And according to our bylaws, our minimum saving per month is 500 shillings. So you're supposed to save 500 shillings every month. That is according to the bylaws. But when you join in and you want to borrow 2 million, you want to buy one, to borrow 500, sure? You need to increase your saving, but the normal that we've set is 500 shillings. Everybody, regardless, must save 500 shillings. I talked about being a bank. We have a current account. That current account gives you the checkbook. That current account, you are able to do all that you can do with it, just like any other commercial bank. We also have fixed deposit facilities, whereby tuki save pesa, before we do a project as Mapake, we can put it in the fixed deposit for it to be earning us some money. Also, a call deposit. The difference between a fix and a call is that the fix, you fix it for a period like 3 months, 6 months, and you cannot withdraw. But a call, unaicall ya kwamba nangoja kadil kaive. So unaiweka kwa call, then ukitaka unapiga Salome nataka pesa yangu. So I'll give you the money that I've earned, if it's a day, 2 days, or 5 days. Sawa sawa. We understand between the difference between a call and a fix now. I'm here to train you also so that you, venye nimesikia mkiongea kizungu mingi yenye sielewi, hata mimi niko na the other side, at least ndio life ikwe smooth. So we also have a junior staff for the ones that have junior kids, they can save for them. We also have a smart saver account. Sometimes you want to do something. Na unapata pesa inapotea. Unapata pesa si kupotea, ni venye tu inakuwa na mashimo mingi. You can have a smart saver account where you save for a specific goal. You want to buy that cow. You want to buy that machine to do something. You want to do whatever you want to do. You can open a smart saver account and save for that particular goal. We also have loan products. I said we first save, then we borrow. So we have saved in the smart saver, we have put money in the fixed deposit, now we are at the loan product. So what can you borrow from us? We have individual and corporate, institution development loans. Development loans. What are development loans? You want to do a house. You want to construct your own house. You want to do rentals. Some of us maybe have those investment. We'll give you that development to build. And we give up to 50 million. So usiogope ya kwamba nikikuja sitapata pesa. We have money, so we'll give you up to 50 million. We have church development loans. I talked about the churches because you may assume that the people seated here, they're just morticians and that's it. I understand here they are seated leaders in the church. There are people who are in the leadership. So it's good to know that you unaweza ambia church yenu, by the way, kuna watu wananunulia watu nini? Shamba ya kanisa. For the clergy, we have the clergy check-off. A Rimuron, that is in case you have an emergency regarding education. We have landlord loans for people who are in landlord. Landlord wanaweza pata pesa na anataka maybe kufanya renovation, kufanya nini, na maybe ana title. To understand ya kwamba wengine Nairobi hawana title. We can be able to give you money. You do your renovation, you do some addition of the toilet or some refabrication, and you are able to use the rent that you correct. You also have asset finance. You want to buy that plot to construct your own home. You want to buy that land to do farming. Come, tutakusort. So asset financing. You want to upgrade your car, or you want now kutoka kwa miguu. You want to go to the car. You come and we'll be able to help you buy that car. You just identify the car, come with the pro forma invoice, and we process, so far as you have been banking with us. We also have salary, whereby if you have paid through us, we have a check-off facility, by the way, for those who are in the government. And the good thing about the check-offs in the SACCO is the same way I said that SACCOs offer low and affordable interest rate as opposed to the bank. Why? Because we are not controlled by the central bank. We are controlled by SASRA. The members are the ones that dictate. So we dictate how much do you want the loans to get. And you cannot, actually SACCOs cannot add interest without taking GM. And people agree that this is the interest that we want to move with. Then we also have overdraft facility if you have a project. Na umekwama, nimesikia my brother hapa akisema nafanyanga supply. Kuja nikupatie overdraft. Wakati itishwa vitu haraka haraka, unakuja kwangu na kupatia pesa, you walk away. So what you just need to do is, maybe if you have a title, if you have a logbook, you come and press it in the bank. Once you press it there, you mark a limit of like 2-3 million. So hiyo pesa inakaa hapo uitumie. But when you have some money that you need, you can overdraw your account up to 3 million. So it saves you a lot of hassle. It saves you that when you ukipata order za haraka haraka, una pressure. Then we have Chipuka loan. I think I talked about Chipuka mobile loan. I've talked about how you can borrow on your mobile phone. And we also have some partnership. Right now, actually, we have a partnership that we've just entered with a company called Edify. For the people who are running schools, we are able to give you money to buy some technology equipment in the school and upgrade the school. Security. So when you borrow, what is the security that you bring to the SACCO? Number one, you can bring the logbook. Maybe you have a car, you need emergency money. Tunaweza kuletea title na tukupatie. You have a land, a piece of land. Na hizi security si lazima ikuwe yako. It's good to know that. Kama una gari si kumaanisha utafanya kitu. We take third party security. Tuko pamoja? So you can ask your brother or your friend, by the way, anajua tu anakujua vizuri. Atakusainia hiyo reform utulete, and we are able to assist you. Because sometimes you work with people who can really help you, and indeed uko na hiyo deal na itaiva. But una security. Ukienda kwa bank wanakuambia leta secure. Una gari, una title. So what do? So you can take third party security. You get to your friend, your brother, your family, and they give you that document, you bring it to the bank, and you're able to partner. We also take chattels. Easy loans za bossa, we can take chattels. Chattel ni vitu zako. We also take personal guarantee. For a chama or the institution like Mapake, we get to a point whereby you need some money maybe to organize such a conference. And you have been banking with us. You can run to us and take chama loan. A chama loan we give you to up to 1 million. And the people or the executive or the group is able to guarantee that 1 million through their personal guarantee. A personal guarantee means this. Ukisikia personal guarantee, unajua ukisign your personal guarantee and in case that loan is not paid, I'll attach your personal. Tuko pamoja? So ukienda bahari uambiwe, hakuna wataki security, wanataka to sign personal guarantee. Ujue personal guarantee we ni kupersonal we umenini? Umejigarantia kwamba isipolipwa we ndio utafanya nini? Utalipa. But it's a good thing because like for a chama, sometimes you know that you will still pay. You know, unajua watu watatoa nini? So mtakwama mnakimbia mtuambie tupatie 600 tufanye ABCD and then members will continue contributing. So amwezi kwama. We also take a fixed deposit. If you fix money with us, you need urgent money, we'll still give you money. If you want a loan na salary inapita kwetu, the security can act as the salary can act as a security. We also take the guarantors. So the members that are willing to join the circle today, what you can do is that you can join with the people that you are like-minded, such that you form a well understood. Tumeelewana vizuri, sisi tunafanya pamoja, but tunajuana vizuri. Tuingie sako, mimi nikitaka loan unanisainia, wewe ukitaka unakusainia. Those are guarantors. Then also we have, I talked about the financial literacy. Once we join together and we are able to move, we'll also run financial retreat. We will run financial literacy programs whereby we'll help you to manage money. We'll teach you how to pay bills, how to borrow and save, how to invest and plan for retirement. That is something we don't talk about. Some of us, tunaendelea tu, si ati mure mzee ndiye anafaa kusave for retirement. Tunafaa kuanza mapema. True or false? Tusianze wakati ati you are 55 ndio unaona, hey, 10 years from now nitafanya nini? Nitaretire. Myself, I need to plan for my retirement. Because hakuna kitu mbaya kama you have lived so well, we have been flying to Eldoret. Then those other days when you are old, sindio tutakuwa tukisema, malikuwa manapanda ndege. It should be bado unaipa because ulijipanga, we plan for retirement. Then also we train so that we have a clear understanding of the credit, because that is a gray area in most of the people. People borrow for the purpose. I need money, so and very fast I borrow. So and ensure that you're empowered. So that way, as you borrow responsibly, and we help you not to default your loans and understand our financial product. We have a check-off loan. I talked about a check-off loan for the people in the government. And Maki, we also do loan purchase. Unaweza kuwa uko na loan unashangaa sasa yeye anasema na payslip yangu iko tight. Sijui nini, but you need some money. You can come, I buy off. Kule kwa bank unapewa maybe na 17-18%. You've come to me, si nitakupatia na 14%. Have you not saved some money? So payslip yako imefunguka kidogo? Melewa? Itafunguka kidogo because kule umeshikwa kabisa sababu interest iko juu. But ukikuja kwangu na umelipa ile, nitakufungua through the interest and the money that you've paid kidogo. Sawa sawa? So we have those check-off facility. And the most of it is secured by your own salary and maybe the small money that you save. So as a circle, we have a focus to become a tier 1. Right now, we are tier 2. Ni kama 2 banks. Si tunajua kuna tier 1. Tukiongea mambo ya KCB ni tier 1. We have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. A circle that is 5 billion and above is a tier 1. A circle that is 1 billion to 5 billion is a tier 2. And the tier 1 iko chini. So sahi tuko tier 2. But we are at 3.9 billion. So in the next few years when Bapake join us, we are sure we'll get to 5 billion. So we are counting on you so that 5 billion, and together we'll celebrate. As a circle, we had a very interesting year. We also had challenges and emerging issue, data protection. I don't know whether Mapake is affected by the data protection. I'm sure this is an area that has been affected. We need to understand, even as we continue with business, about the data protection. Cybercrime is everywhere. We all understand. I think I've heard about it as some people were talking about it, about the data. Have financial reporting, we have dormancy, we have loan book quality, deposit mobilization, and public perception that has really affected us. This this, we have opportunities that in the industry that we are looking at, and we are very keen to ensure that we take advantage of them. So as a SACCO, we also conduct CSR, that is corporate social responsibility. Like now we've partnered with you. As much as I'm coming to Nini, we partner. So when we are having as a union, probably you can have a CSR whereby we are saying, let's clean the city. We can partner. Here as a Christian organization, we go and thank God together. And I will challenge even you people can do that. Mwaka ikiisha mnaweza sema tuende tukashukuru Mungu. He has been faithful at a personal capacity. But sasa we've gone as a group. We always do that, and we touch the life of the needy in the community. Last year we went to Gong. These photos sijui kama zinaonekana ama nimezifunga sana. But to touch lives. During Christmas we go together and we life. This is the Dimkes investment. We have properties across the country. To buy a plot or buy some land, you can see me. I'll be around to have a discussion. We also have an agency. As we give you loan, to ensure that you are insured. Wengi watakangi kusikia. But have different insurance product, medical. Some of us who are now permanently employed, of course, they have medical insurance, but it's important. You can take for your parents, you can take for your family, you can take, actually you can reinsure. Even if you have it, you can reinsure. So we have medical insurance, we have motor vehicle insurance, personal accident covers, that's expense, and there's so many others. So in case you need insurance cover, we'll be able to hook you up with the best. As a SACCO, we've been getting awards. I'm here because the SACCO has really grown, and it is the talk of town. And just see, nimesema nimekuja ku market, but we market with facts. Indio. Last year, we usually have a ushirika day where all SACCOs in the country join together, and we are able to be recognized depending on what you've been doing. Last year, we got 6 awards, and this year we got 8 awards. Tupigieni makofi. We got 8 awards. Being the SACCO, actually the SACCO industry, like the DT SACCO, we have 176 SACCO. Imagine 176 SACCO. And one SACCO is getting 8 awards. We thank God for that. And we got best SACCO in technology optimization. What that means, I've just said that we are able to bank members from diaspora and everywhere. That is through the technology, the way we have really advanced our technology, remaining very innovative in ensuring that we give you value. We are position 2 in best in credit management, position 2 in deposit management, and the best performing SACCO, nationally position 3. We are best in risk management, most improved SACCO, most efficient DT SACCO, and the highest dividend payout SACCO in Kiambu County. So we thank God for that. That is a CSR. We also partner. I said we can partner in other things. This is Karangari High School. We partner with them. They are very good in football. So they were going for a tournament, and each and every year we partner. We are in the process of also renovating and also upgrading our banking halls, and we also are opening another branch in Roiro town. Mkituona mahali in Roiro, kimbia useme tulipatana na Dimkes Eldoret. So I want to get it to there, then I go to where I want us to think of the options that we can partner together. For the last, I think, a month or 2, actually the discussion started last year. The executive, the chairman came having discussion on how Mapake can partner with Dimkes. And number 1 partnership is whether we can be able to get a piece of land as phase 1. And phase 2, if we are able to construct a morgue. Because this is where our expert is. Sindio? And after that, we'll be looking at a partner that will have 3 phases. Phase 1, land. Phase 2, we construct there. And phase 3, we do a what? A school. We go about it. Of course, we will sit down and get to see the possible areas, of course, through the ESCO. They'll come back to you and we'll be able to figure out what are the areas that we can get. After that, we'll go to the next phase. After tumemaliza kulipa loan ya tunanunua shamba. So then the next thing we do what? We construct. Si tutakupatia development, we construct. The good thing is that once you buy that loan, the security will be, it will be so easy. And the third phase is to have what? A school. So as we buy the land, we also need to kit out the box and buy a piece of land big enough that can accommodate the morgue and probably the what? The school. Sawa sawa. So for us to get there, I want to give you some figures. Of course, bank lazima kukuwe na numbers. If you are to I don't know how much we are contributing currently per member. Is it information I can get? Or you have to sit down. But possibly, if you were to borrow and get a nice piece of land, of course, sahi inakaa mzuri sana nikisema tukuwe na land, tukuwe na morgue, tukuwe na... Sinakaa vizuri kwa akili zetu. But we have to go back to our pockets so that we get the vision into reality. So I think through the chair, you'll sit down and come up with a figure of how much we can contribute so that we get there. And just a feel of how much we need to contribute. If we want to get 5 million, this is monthly repayment plus savings. We said we must save and pay so that we don't tunalipa loan tu mtu mmoja akikosa kulipa hiyo mwezi tumekwama. So we must continuously save. So where do we start? We start by saving. We'll partner, take at least 6 months. After 6 months now, you people will sit down, the executive will sit down to wonder how much we can get. But rough figures is that if you want to buy something worth 5 million, you'll need over 130,000. If you need to buy something worth 10 million, you need 235,000. If you want something worth 15 million, you need around 370. And if you want 20 million, you need something around 500,000. With these figures in your mind, now as you sit down and agree the direction you want to take, it's become easy. We say that who are the active members? We have 100. Then from there we are able to, yes. But we dream big. Let's dream big. It is possible. Actually, I'm very excited about this conference, that you people are able to organize a very serious conference. This is a very serious conference. And kudos to you that you can do this and even host people in Eldoret. It means that you can do it. Musi stop kukuja tu tunasoma then ni hivyo tu. Let's bring back these things to the community. When we have a morgue, when our people go to be with the Lord, at least tunajua tunakuja mahali mzuri. Sawa sawa. So it's something that is worth doing. It's something that is doable. It's something that will be a game changer in the country. Actually, I don't think tuko na very serious morgue in the country. And we all want to be taken care of. We all want our loved ones to be taken care of. We want akipumzika tunataka tu tuende na hizo hills naendanga nazo nikienda nikilia naona ni mahali mzuri, si ndio? That's all what you want and you are good at that. Give it your best, and giving it your best is coming together as a union and get serious. There is a very good vision with this your leadership. If we partner together, I'm telling you for sure, you'll be able to do mega things. We have done it before with others. Actually, when I met Kina Jacinta, I told them that I financed a morgue in my former life where I was working somewhere in Makueni. And it is doable. And it was 26 members that did it. So for you, if the powers of numbers, raising 500,000 for 20 million is nothing. Even if you say you unajicommit na 5,000 every month, you are good to go, and the vision will be realized very fast. So I want to challenge all of us, even as we move forward as a union, let's have something that you can look back in years and say that we were able to impact the community, because this is not only for you, it's the community, it's the country, because they'll be talking about an institution where we can take our people to learn about morticians. We can go back and say that there is a nice and a very well-kept morgue where we can take our loved ones. So I challenge you as I finish, is that you take up the challenge, let's move forward. One challenge ya chama, nimekuwa mwalimu wa chama mimi for some time. Na challenge kubwa sana yenye sitaki kuwa na mapake ni siasa. Salome ametoka all the way akakuja hapa akamwambia tunaweza, na unaona kabisa inaweza. But other people say, "Ai hapana, anga sijui nini." The people that's an advice from me. The people that are willing to move, msitikie wengine wawarudishe nini? The people that are serious, open the account, tell them we are contributing 2,000. The people that are contributing 2,000, we can see, hata tukiwa na 100 and that we still can do something. Sindio? And we start from there. The rest wakiona, yeah, hii kitu ni serious, watatujoin baadaye. But do not be derailed by the people that will start saying it is not possible, anga sijui nini, hatufai kuboro. And sometimes, even if you say you not borrow, if we say we save 5 million, save miaka ngapi? Sini mingi sana. We better save, we better borrow, at least we get to reach to our destination mapema. So I urge all of you, please support these people so that, because we are winning, that's why I traveled all the way, so that, because I can see something. Of course, for me to come here, the discussion that we had, I saw there is potential here, and there is an impact that will be felt. So we are really happy and very ready to partner with you at a capacity of Mapake and at individual capacity. And for individual members, please see me for take-off loan facility. See me if you want foster development loan financing. LPO financing, if you have some money, umeweka mahari, nitakuwekea kama fixed deposit. If you have another, other than Mapake, come we partner. I said we give chama loan, chama development loan. Na chama hiyo yenu, mkitaka 1 million, simnasema mnaweza wapatia. Bora mkuwe mmesave. I think number one is, even for Mapake, there is no discussion I'm having with you without seeing you are saving. So we start saving and create. But of important case will help you take advantage of the affordable interest rate that I've talked about. We'll walk the journey. We'll have those financial literacy programs. We'll sit here again and again. You'll call us and we'll teach you on how to go about it. So hatutafanya vitu tu ati tufanye ama ndio nini, but we'll walk the journey. Because we are your faithful financial partner, and that's why we've been able to grow, because we walk the journey with the customer. We listen to what you want, and through that we are able to do good thing. So thank you so much. I really appreciate for that chance. I don't know whether we have questions, reactions, appreciation. Anyone? Si hata mtu aseme nimepresent vizuri jamini. Anipe saik. Yes, thank you. It depends with the amount and the period that we are fixing. So you can come, we sit down, I'll give you the figures. If you have 10 million seated and you want to give me for 1 year, we'll negotiate a good rate for you. Yes. Any other question? Aya, nimepreach. Nani anataka kuokoka? Nani anataka kufungua account? If you want to open an account, please see me. We'll have a discussion. If you have a question, I'll be around during lunchtime. Please come see me. If you want, uko na roho nimekusukuma mahali sana, please come, we can have a discussion. And I've said that in circles you are able to take advantage of affordable interest. So kule kama unalipa, tuseme ulifawa 5 million, na unalipa 180. Of course kama unalipa na 19 ama 18, ukikuja na 14 si utalipa kidogo. So what that does, it increase your other limit. Sawa sawa. So we can buy off. Hiyo loan inakusukuma the other end. Kama uko pia kwa hizi microfinance, kwa saa ingine unaenda wanakwambia tunapeana logbook loan. So unaenda unapewa logbook loan, unalipa aishi. Just come, we can be able to buy off your loan. Sawa sawa. So may God bless you. I really appreciate for that chance. We are also on Facebook. We are, you can check our website so that you're able to get www.dimkesako.co.ke so that you familiarize with us. And maybe in case of anything, but I can even leave my number. My number is 0724-851-914. In case you have any question, any clarification, feel free to call. Thank you and God bless you. The number 0724-851-914. My name is Salome. Thank you.
That was enlightening. I would like to call upon Madam Jacente. You said you will sue me.
I'll sue you for defamation. That was Simon's name. Simon will talk about it. I might think of changing my name to Jacinte. Okay. In the spirit of recognizing our education managers, I call upon Martin Inyimili Indongoli to come and read us in a prouding Sarome. Martin, I can't see you. Kindly come over. Martin, kindly. Haya, tupigieni Martin makofi. Murunga, are you in? Murunga? Haya. Miles? Walimu waliacha wanafunzi peke yao? Hey, that is serious. Simon. Oh, Martin is here. Let us clap for Martin. You know he is my boss. When he says stops, I stop. When he comes, I'm happy. Martin, karibu. Thank you, Sarome, for that education. My take home is save money to save you tomorrow, isn't it? Haya, karibu, Martin.
Good afternoon. Yeah. Salome, thank you for that very enlightening session. I think just like Jacinta saved me today, I save you tomorrow. And I hope I'll be your client. I hope I will come to exchange my issues for a loan. But thank you. I think I'll borrow from the Factorial Club. You know the Factorial Club, eh? Yeah, so that's what we'll give Jacinta for that enlightening, not Jacinta, Salome, for that enlightening. So we'll start off with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You know how it goes, eh? So we do a try. You are not counting. That's what I was testing. So now I think I know you are alert. So we do.
I take this opportunity to call upon the national chair, Elkanah.
So we are going to have a slight difference in the program because we are remaining with 2 items, but looking at the time, I think it will be wise that we dispense off with one Then the presentation of the papers will happen tomorrow morning. So I want to request Dr. Kibet, a pathologist at MTRH, to come and present his presentation. Karibu daktari.
Good afternoon, everyone. I will not take a lot of your time, but as I introduced myself yesterday, my name is Kibet Keitany. I'm a pathologist. I work in Eldoret. We work together with the team in this North Rift region, and I'm impressed about the attendance and also the level of engagement that you people are. It's I think the growth is evident, and it is actually good, very good organization, and you will literally achieve a lot in that space in which you occupy by working together and being a united team. So this afternoon, I was recently requested to share something on the role of mortuary practitioners in ensuring forensic techniques are applied correctly to aid accurate cause of death determination. Since these are things that we do on a routine, especially those ones who are actively in practice, these are, I will not like do in terms of lecture or something like that, but I would want us to be to engage, to be more engaged, and I actually tried to split this topic so that sisi wote tunaweza kuelewa, we can all understand what the terms are. Like when we say mortuary practitioners, who really are these mortuary practitioners? Ni nani? You get it? So literally, to us, we might think it's just the morticians, but it's actually everyone who literally works and earns a living in the mortuary, including the morticians, the pathologists, the forensic pathologists, they work there as well. All the assistants that we work together with in the mortuary. So what is the role of that in ensuring, but for this particular presentation, I'm just will focus on the team who usually take the most important role, that is the mortuary technologists, mortuary technicians, the morticians, funeral directors. These are the people who spend most of the time in the mortuaries or in the farewell homes. In fact, all the other teams, our Julikani, they are not known except those ones. So there's a critical role, and of course there are a lot of forensic techniques, and these have to be applied correctly to aid cause of death determination. So just as a bit of introduction, how is death investigation or determination or cause of death determination done in our country? In other jurisdictions, it is done differently. And then when we're talking about especially these deaths that are investigated, it is not all deaths that are investigated, isn't it? There are categories of deaths. There are those that are natural, isn't it? Someone has died out of old age, usually doesn't require a lot of investigation, isn't it? In fact, in our country, people, it's actually the provincial administration who can even issue permits of burial and paperwork to assist in processing death certification. The chief, assistant chiefs and everything, they do those ones. Someone who's 100 years, 90 and above, no, nothing suspicious, just slept out of old age. Usually those ones are not investigated as such. We don't refer to those ones here. And then the other group is the group of people who have been in hospitals with a diagnosis, very good diagnosis, but complicated. So usually the bodies of those such people are brought to mortuaries and firewalls for preservation, isn't it? Just preservation as you await interment. We don't investigate a lot. But the ones that we are investigated are largely the ones that are sudden deaths, sudden unexplained deaths, deaths that are suspicious. All those terms are the ones that are investigated. In other jurisdictions, we have independent services. Just like you have police service, Kenya Police Service, very independent in the investigating crime. We have other services, like kuna moja inaitwa coroner service. Coroner service, we don't have it yet as a country, but we have. How many have heard of this thing? The last, it's called the National Coroner Service Act. Nani amesikia kitu kama hiyo? By show of hands. In our country. Kabisa, kabisa. Okay. It was enacted in which year? It is an act of 20? You need to confirm, check. If I remember, I think it's called the National Coroner Service Act of 2017. So in other jurisdictions, there's a coroner service, or in most states in the US, it's called the medical examiner service. They're independent from the police and independent from healthcare workers, and their role is just to investigate deaths that are suspicious or that are uncertain, that are sudden. That is the main role. So in our country, it was passed. It is an act. The only problem is that it has not been operationalized. It is not fully implemented. It was meant to be just like a police service. So you have a coroner service with a coroner general and employees of the coroner service, including mortuary technologists, forensic pathologists, forensic science specialists, investigating officers, independent. And the reason for that is, you remember there was a time in which there were a lot of, it's called extrajudicial killings. Extrajudicial killings in which probably the members of the police, they kill and then they investigate, isn't it? Of course, justice usually is not served at the end, because the persons who are doing the crime are the ones investigating. So it led to this thing, and we hope even as we grow, and even as Mapake grows and becomes strong, these are the things that we also need to, in those spaces, to advocate and say, yes, why don't we have this thing implemented? Is it because of a budget? Is it because the powers that we don't consider it as a very important act? Because it's very, very important and very crucial to have a service that does these things. It will make our work easy. But at the moment, death investigations largely done by the investigating officers. The Kenya Police Service, we provide a supportive role, isn't it? We do largely a supportive role. We don't do the main investigation. So the presentation will basically lead, it's more of emphasizing what we can do as people who work in the mortuary to support the investigating officers, who usually are members of the Kenya Police Service, and also the prosecutors, the ones who prosecute cases. especially when you already have homicidal causes of death. So, so that is a very important point that we need to put in at the back of our minds, that we have an act that is 7 years old now, but it's still gathering dust. Haijafanya kazi. And if it was to work, most of our facilities would improve, because usually a service comes with its own budget, with its own people and everything. So the process of investigating death or uncertain deaths, usually the most important component is something we call a postmortem or an autopsy, isn't it? And autopsy, those many terms are very important when it comes to autopsy. What is an autopsy? Why is it done? How is it done? Who does it? When is it done? And where is it done? These are things that I will not go into the details, but I'll presume we all understand. But we know there are postmortems that are forensic, and there are those ones that are clinical. The most controversial ones that we need to be very careful is when we are handling forensic. Most of the clinical ones are usually people who have probably been known to have a condition, but then the family would want final closure, but knowing exactly what happened. Maybe some intervention was done and the result was not as expected. So they usually call clinical. Mostly we do it in hospital setups to try and see the extent of a disease or something. But forensic ones are the ones that we need always to be very careful, very vigilant, because the stakes are usually very, very high. And then when it comes to the autopsy process, there is the procedure itself, and then meaning the techniques that I was told to talk about. And then there is usually, for the ones that are uncertain, for the ones in which the cause of death is not very clear, we usually require samples, isn't it? So mortuary practitioners, especially morticians, also come in very strong here, handling samples. Handling samples. And I saw these, I don't know whether it was covered, the issues of chain of custody or handling of specimens. Because we don't have a Coroner Service Act operational, so we still have a lot of improvisation that we are doing. We will do the autopsy procedure, identify the samples to be taken, working together with the mortuary technologists and the pathologists. We remove the samples, we label them well, but in the practice, in the counties and even national governments, what usually happens once you remove those samples? Do the police take immediately? Most of the time they don't, isn't it? And that is usually creates a risk in chain of custody and handling of those samples if they are not handled well, because most of the time the investigating officers will say they don't have the means to go to the forensic government chemist. So please store them for them until they are ready. They'll come and pick and go directly to either Kisumu or Nairobi. That is how it happens practically. But ideally, if there was a coroner service, they will take all those samples at the time of the autopsy, so that you don't have to store, you don't have to ensure safe custody before it is taken. Because of that, it creates an avenue where either you or some of your staff, not necessarily mortuary technologists, but even the staff working in the mortuary itself, can be compromised, isn't it? To either change the samples, especially whether there was something that maybe these poisoners or toxins and stuff. Samples can be changed. Stuff can be added into samples. So, you know, all those things, they can happen there, especially if the samples are not stored well under proper chain of custody regulations and rules. And then I had mentioned the Corona Service Act. So the techniques are things that are taught in the various programs. I'm so glad these days it's easy, because when you go to most farewell facilities or mortuaries and you're doing an autopsy, most of the time you're dealing with someone who already understands. In the past, a few years back, like 10 years ago, it used to be a very big challenge. You would go, you're starting from zero, because number one, even the person who is there, ajui kuandika. And I'm so glad, because I've seen that transformation. Ilikuwa unafika, you are the everything. This person hata ajui kuandika, records all these, everything. So it's a challenge from the word go. But because of professionalization of the service, it's been very nice. At least, I mean, when you talk of an autopsy, someone already knows the procedure. Number one, correct identification of the body, isn't it? Number two, external examination after correct identification. And then number three, exposure or evisceration. And then if you, most of the time for complete, you do everything including exposing all the areas, including the skull, isn't it? Most of the time in the past it used to be very challenging, because the moment you go, you talk about skull, daktari hapo tusiende, but already that one compromises. What if there was a problem there, isn't it? But these days, this has changed. So that is the entire process, and then we take the samples, and then after that, we usually submit them to either toxicology or histology, following the correct chain of custody. So I will not deal largely on those techniques, because those are standard techniques, but I wanted to focus on some of the challenges that I see locally that are very important, and that we can share and see how we can improve, because this is where I find there is a challenge in the mortuary services aiding access to correct or accurate cause of death certification, and eventually access to justice, isn't it? The reason why we do all these investigations, number one, is to ensure that justice is done, isn't it? And then the other thing is to ensure that families get closure or achieve closure in the earliest time possible. So I listed these 5, but I want to we discuss with respect to where we are in our counties. What role can we individually play as mortuary technologists in those regions or in those centers where we are, and what role can the association in at large can play in ensuring that these things are implemented and things are done correctly, so that we have what has been mentioned here, the justice and closure. Sawa. So the number one is usually that access to autopsy services or access to postmortem services. In our setup, because I already said we don't have a functional national coroner service that is independent. So we still rely on the police and the healthcare workers, isn't it? Who usually meets the costs of autopsy services? Is there a county in which the county government pays for autopsy service? Usually it's the family, isn't it? Usually it is the family. And when it is the family that are gathering for all that cost, if the cost is prohibitive, what happens? Most families would rather opt out, isn't it? And when they opt out, if it was a murder case, it ends there. And justice will have been, it's called miscarriage, isn't it? It's a miscarriage of justice. So the issues of charges is something that institutions can identify how they could go around it to ensure that if an autopsy is required based on the circumstances, it needs to be done, despite the issues of the charges. Actually, in some institutions, the investigating officers writes to the institutions, like the county, to the county leadership, that there's this family, they don't have money at all, but we really, this is a case of homicide. If a postmortem is not done, it will lead to a miscarriage of justice, and that is it. And then some form of waiver system can be done. Or sometimes in private institutions, the fees can be negotiated so that it's not static, isn't it? To allow access. Because if it is, it's a procedure, it's a legal procedure that if it is not done, nothing proceeds, isn't it? Yes, if there was someone who has been arrested, even releasing that person will be a problem because he's a suspect. You need the legal P23A form for this person to be released. So that is the one, number one. Number two is access to information. Access to information. Mortuary technologists as a profession, you have a lot of information based on your training on the cases that require autopsies and the ones that don't require, isn't it? For generally, at least roughly you will have that understanding. The families and relatives will not have that information, isn't it? They will not understand. They don't even see sometimes. So I've had cases of families coming saying, we know our person was killed. Alikatwa, shingo. Why should I pay 10,000 for this thing? So you just release us this body, give us a permit, we go and bury, isn't it? Actually, those are the requests that I'm sure you will meet there. But this family, probably they don't have that information. Number one, if this person was cut with a panga, someone was arrested, isn't it? This person who has been arrested, how is he going to be handled without documentation? That number one, so and so has been confirmed dead, body identified by people who know, and these are the cause of death, documented. It will end there. Number two, in the event that without the postmortem, that thing stops there. And usually, most of the time, if the mortuary people or the staff working in the mortuary don't insist on autopsy, especially for murder or assault cases, they say there's a term about justice. They say the wheels of justice turn very slowly, isn't it? But they grind exceedingly fine. So eventually, it will catch up. It will catch up. If it was a murder case, it's usually a state against someone, isn't it? So usually it's not like a family can negotiate out of it. It's usually very challenging. And most of the time, for the few cases that evaded an autopsy, they always come back through an exhumation. Exhumation to ascertain the cause of death. And our role as mortuary practitioners, I used to be told, while I was studying, that you try as much as possible to avoid an exhumation. If you can, if you think this, by missing this process will lead to an exhumation, do your best to avoid it. Because usually a very nasty experience for the people who are doing, and also for the people, for the family. So exhumations are usually very crazy, and you would want to give information to the family, let them make a very informed decision, and by all means, don't be the only person who certifies, and usually most of the time ensure that they have gotten clearance from all the team that are investigating. Because from experience, that is something that I know it backfires more often than not. An autopsy is not done for a case that is obviously an homicidal death, largely because of lack of information, not necessarily on the money component. So that is the issues of this country. The other one is on who performs the autopsy. I mentioned initially that in the past it was very difficult. You go to the mortuary, and the person who is assisting literacy, literally almost very hard to do the whole. I must Mapake, and also the issue, mobilization and the issues of ensuring licensing of all the people who work in the mortuaries, so that mortuaries are not, the people who work in mortuaries are not identified. There used to be a misconception that these are drunk people who don't know what they are doing. They harass people, but with time it is actually in the past they used to scare people until they toe the line, isn't it? But currently the mortuary technologists, because you insist, and KHPO also insist on licensing, you tend to have people who are professional, who know how to open. So insistence on professionals to do this kind of service. And in the farewell facility, insist on those ones who at least know how it is done and what tools to use. And then also, I know in the peripheries, you don't have a lot of forensic pathologists doing there. So sometimes you can get medical officers doing these processes. And I think it should also, the mortuary technologies also plays a crucial role in ensuring that the cases being done are at the level of the medical officers. There are cases that are very complex that if you allow the medical officers to do, and especially the young medical officers who've just finished the internship, you will get into trouble. Most of the repeat postmortems that I've done personally within this region are largely related to a young medical officer who found themselves doing a very complex case. And they are doing it probably with a mortuary technologist who doesn't understand how to do all the exposures. So they will not even open the head, they just open kidogo kidogo and then have a cause of death, and then one family disputes it, and then now it goes to the government pathologist level. It gets into the media and everything. So sometimes, because you are the team who are always on the ground, you can gauge the cases. There are clinical cases that can be done by medical officers, but then there are serious cases with serious public interest. You always gauge and say, no, this one, you can advise the family, this one, it needs to be done by a forensic person as opposed to a general. So that is as to who does it. And then the equipment as well. I was glad yesterday someone made an appeal to the guests, the chief guests and the team, the department. We need proper equipping, proper equipment, so that we don't, we can do our work easily. And most of the time it is, I always wonder why if you get into district hospitals, they have theaters with all the equipment and everything, but you go to the mortuary, there is nothing. You literally hold a blade without a blade holder. Eh? But the money that is generated from the facility is most of the time even more than what is generated on the other side. So those are things that we can, as an association, push to ensure that you have basic minimum in the standards that you're talking about. There was the standards for training and standards for facilities, so that you have basic minimum, including the autopsy for opening the skull, so that we avoid the chiseling. The chiseling, I usually find it very traumatizing. You're chiseling someone's skull, and sometimes you can create injuries that and the eye that is not experienced can miss out. So that is on the autopsies and the equipment. The other one is the sample handling and the chain of custody. I've already mentioned that is a challenge that if not handled very well, it causes miscarriage of justice. Samples are removed, but they are not refrigerated. We usually don't put formalin on those samples. They are not refrigerated. You put it in room temperature. What happens after 1 week or 2 weeks? The things are decomposed. So it's as good as samples were not taken for examination. So handling of those samples. Number 2, chain of custody, making sure that they are always under lock and key, and whoever have access is someone who is responsible, someone who is professional, and then so that you handle over to the next team. So that is, and then the other one, the environment, the entire environment. I always insist that, and we usually fight with the public health experts, the public health teams, and the legal, even in MTRH, the legal departments, in maintaining a safe working environment for the people working in the mortuaries, to ensure that it is clean. An investigation that is done in a clean environment, it's like you've started at 50% going to 100. But if you start in an environment that is smelly, that is disorganized, you're starting from negative 50. And usually, making that working environment safe and good and sound, a place that you can even take your tea and lunch without a problem, is actually the role that even as an association, we can push to the end. There are mortuaries that are very nice. You don't even tell when you are inside and when you are outside. And I think that is what we should all be aiming at. The fight that we have with the legal experts and the public health people is, for how long do we keep unclaimed bodies? I don't know whether it's a problem anywhere or it's just a problem in our institution and locally here, where the commonest cause of the bad smell is the bodies that have stayed for unnecessarily very long duration, like 3 months, 6 months, sometimes up to one year. You talk to the public health people, they say it has to stay for such and such a time. But actually, if you go to the act, it's supposed to be, who knows what the act says? 90? 30 days. 90 days. Yes. Any other? 90. Any other? It should be less than 90. It's actually, if you look at it's a 1991 subsidiary public health legislation. Yes, it's actually 10 days. It is illegal to have a body in a public mortuary for more than 10 days. But you know our culture, the culture. We have put culture into the law. So we get people saying it has to be 30 days, others 90, which is 3 months, others 6 months. If you walk around the mortuaries represented here, you will get bodies that are as old as 1 year with no plan of disposing. So this is something that you need to streamline in our mortuaries. We read the legislations, the law, very clearly. We share with our legal departments, public health, and have a structured way of disposing them regularly, regularly. Because if you actually follow the law, you don't have, because the law is meant to make the place safe. They consider all the bodies hazardous. So the longer you stay with them, the worse it is for the team working there and for everyone else. So those are the things that we need to interpret, read them so that we know the days. We make sure they go, so that we have a clean working environment, devoid of smell, so that we can do all those investigations and work there hygienically. So the next one is record keeping, and someone mentioned the data protection. Record keeping, as I mentioned, the wheels of justice turn very slowly, but they grind exceedingly fine, requiring a lot of record keeping for mortuaries. So, and the people who work mainly who are identified with the mortuaries are the mortuary technologists and sometimes pathologists. The records officers are there, but we need to be the leader, Most of the cases, especially the ones that require forensic, usually the cases are determined even sometimes 10 years after the postmortem. If you don't keep your records well, they might require someone from your institution to go and present. We usually, like personally, I do go to court, and it's painful sometimes when you are given a summon or a bond to attend court, and then the mortuary cannot trace where a postmortem report was placed 3 or 5 years ago. It becomes a big problem. So that is the thing. And then the issue of data protection and confidentiality. Private, highly exclusive mortuaries, they maintain a lot of confidentiality. People don't just pop in and look at or view people's bodies. They usually require some kind of authorization, and I think it's the mortuary technologies team who are the ones to be very keen, even during the death investigation. I've had cases in which suspects are present in the autopsy room trying to mislead a young, if he gets a young, inexperienced person, look at there, there's something there, because our justice system, the way it is. So you need to be very careful when it comes to data issues. And then those are the main challenges that I thought I would share. And coming towards the end, because I promise not to take a lot of your time, is the fact that there's a critical in-depth investigation and determining the cause of death, and also, so towards the end, there's that critical, just know, as you get out of this conference and this meeting, remember that the mortuary practitioners, you play a very critical role in ensuring access to justice, and also in ensuring or assisting family members to achieve closure. And if we do it professionally, you do it with integrity, and you make sure all those challenges are addressed, even from an association point of view. And we, from our side, we also push, but as I wrote there, we are stronger together. Because also from the pathology side, we have our own association that we tend also to push. But we are more than happy if the environment is clean, the people we are working with are professional, they have integrity, the working environment is hygienic, and then all the tools required are there. And then things like chain of custody is well maintained. You have all the fridges to keep all the samples and will not have, and the families for sure will also be appreciative because of the issues of closure and access to justice. And at the moment, there's a lot of people have identified. I think it's a factor of the fact that we are developing as a country. We used to be low income country. We've come to a lower middle income. We are soon going to middle income countries, and people are very conscious about handling the death, handling bodies of relatives, and it's becoming an industry that I was impressed about the financial talk and the empowerment talk, because there are a lot of business people who are very interested in that. That if we don't wake up and make your house in order, you'll be taken advantage of by other people and teams, and that is a very important, because it is growing. People are demanding more and more from farewell homes. So if you can provide that which there is demand, you will always get your numbers. And then lastly, there's that very nice slogan that together we can achieve more and stronger together. Especially, and that one you can narrow it to this team, you can narrow it to institutions, you can narrow it to individuals, and then you can even narrow to the association, that if you push for these things that you can do, you can achieve more. So, thank you, and in case there is any question, I'm more than willing to respond to. Thanks. Yes, please.
Good afternoon. Mine is not a question, rather, it's a clarity. For the clinical cases, who is supposed to request? Relatives or hospital?
So for the clinical cases, we request the hospital or the relatives. Ideally, it's supposed to be the hospital. If the death occurred in hospital without a clear diagnosis, and sometimes they used to say within, like, if it is unexpected within the hospital will request. But you know, the challenge there is usually who pays, isn't it? If the hospital is requesting, are they the ones going to pay? It's the hospital which pay. If the family wants to know for closure purposes, but the hospital are comfortable with the eventuality, in terms of they know they can physiologically and pathologically explain the cause of death, and they are not willing to, will you say no to the family and they are the ones paying? So usually it's a case of contextualizing. Where I work in MTRH, usually we have both. The cases that are requested by the hospital, but the family have to consent for it. Because sometimes the hospital can request, but the family don't give consent, and that is the end of it. And then there are cases that the hospital probably have no interest. They don't want to meet that expenses, because you know, cost cutting as well, because it's an expense, and the hospital wants to avoid that cost. And then the family, so they usually come to the farewell, they make the requisition, and it is scheduled. I don't know how it happens elsewhere. Yes. Yes, someone can. There was another mic.
Thank you very much for your presentation. My question is, when you are preserving autopsy for toxicology or other further tests, do you use any other chemical like normal saline or some acid, maybe to, if you are sending it outside the country, to make sure that whatever it is you are looking for, it won't be destroyed? And number two, for that sample, you said that there's a record keeping, you put it for a longer period. What about the sample which had a query, whether it is a brain, liver, or such autopsy? Do you still store it for some time, just in case we have some cases after the final report? Thank you.
Thanks for the samples. We once, especially in the country for forensic examination, once the samples have been removed, we fill in those documentations, and ideally, we don't retain anything. We just send to the government chemists, investigating officers, for forensic analysis and testing. How we preserve it, we usually don't add in anything. We just refrigerate, because sometimes they're freezing. But the ideal, like if we had the coroner service, that duration is not supposed to last for too long. Yes, but it turns in our setup, it lasts for too long because the police are looking for money for fuel. Usually it's a fuel. How can I reach there? You need something for lunch and stuff. But ideally, if it was a seamless thing, immediately they're removed, they're taken. But because mostly what we do, like as we refrigerate or we freeze, they stay until to be collected immediately. We don't add in any other thing. Saline will not really preserve. It's just if you put saline without refrigeration or freezing, you will not achieve much. And then I think that is it. We don't. Our work ends with that handling in the chain. Once you submit the samples, you don't keep in anything else. The ones for histology, they go for histology. And once they're processed, the goodness with histology is that once you process tissues, you get permanent, we call tissue blocks, which you can always refer to in case you need even molecular testing in the future. Thanks.
I would like to know, when a mother is giving birth and in the process she dies, when conducting such a postmortem or an autopsy, is it clinical or forensic?
So it depends on the jurisdictions. In our country, all maternal deaths are handled by the institution where those things have occurred. In fact, those because of the fact that maternal mortality, neonatal mortalities is an health indicator. So in our country, literally all of them needs to be investigated because the institution needs the data to submit to the ministry. So ideally, the family should not even be the ones meeting those costs. It needs to be the institution. Because you have to submit data somewhere as to the cause of a maternal mortality or a maternal cause of death. So mostly it's the institutions that request and make sure that they are done. They are not forensic as such, though there are those that can turn forensic, but mostly they are clinical but led by the institution that where the death occurred. I don't know how it is in other institutions. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. My question is concerning when is the relative of the deceased they are supposed to get the death certificate, after burial or before the burial?
So according to the laws of our country, most death certificates, they are received or they can be processed. 3 weeks, usually they give 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks after the issuance of the burial permit, because it's a process. The burial permit is issued by the hospital, and then the death is a form that is filled by the professional that goes to the register of deaths. It can be done even quickly, but I think the turnaround, they give it to 3 weeks, because sometimes you have a lot of cases. If you say the next day, you will get into crisis. So they usually, mostly after a month, 3 weeks or such, yeah.
Thank you, Daktari, for us, like maybe like ordinary mwananchi. But what about concerning the international foreigner? Yeah. The certificate as quick as possible, or they should wait for 3 weeks, maybe?
For internationals, I mean, what is the use of a death certificate?
For example, you see a foreigner, maybe a UN person is working in Kenya.
Yes.
All of a sudden, by bad luck, she passed on. Now the relative want to take the body to the country of origin.
Yeah.
There is that process of documentation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So usually for that, I think if I'm not wrong, the most important documentation there is usually number one, will have been a death certification, and then number two, there is a permit for burial, and the permit for burial is a the most important document that can allow even transportation for this body and allow the interment. And then the last one is the certificate of embalming. The embalming certificate, the body has been preserved, there's been deemed uninfectious, and there's nothing. And then the other, I mean, the death certificate can be quickly, usually. Important, it's not the institution processing the death certificate, but it is the district deaths. How is it in other jurisdictions in the current experience or something? Thanks.
Hello. I've come a post in from Radio 47 that was posted in 13 hours ago. So I read it. Peter Kipalangati Kigeni, 32 years, collapsed at his home in Kericho County and was taken to hospital where medical staff mistakenly pronounced him dead. His body was taken to the mortuary, where during the embalming process, an attendant made an incision into his right leg to inject formalin, only for the Gigeni to shockingly regain consciousness. Screaming in pain, staff, terrified, rushed him back to the casualty ward. Through initially appeared to recover, Kigeni tragically died later in an ambulance to en route to Kericho County Referral Hospital for further treatment. So nimepitia comments pale they are blaming the mortician. So I was asking, in this case, who do we blame? The mortician or the doctors? Thank you.
That case seems to be very remote and crazy. You might think it's not real until it is you who is involved. And you realize the stakes are very, very high. very high. The community can actually even lynch some people. So that case speaks of a broken system. It's a broken system, and the person to blame is not the mortician, but there is a role that we also play. The main thing is, in our country, death certification is done by the clinicians. Is a medical specialist. Usually, in big hospitals, is the medical officers or the specialist. In small hospitals where there are no specialists, usually the clinical officers. So once they certify, it's usually the nursing team that does it's called the last rites or something like that. I think there was something like last rites in the nursing profession. Last office, exactly. That's the word. That's the word I wanted. So they do all that, and usually the morticians come in when all those things have been done. And I remember in training, we used to be told not to be very quick in going to collect a body. Give it some time. And I mean, there were no documented time. They say 2 hours. At least some time. Don't be quick. Someone has died and then you go and bring immediately. So the thing is, our role there is, while collecting this body from where it was, number one, did we ensure that it was certified? Number two, how long had it stayed and after the certification, and who was certifying it? You know, sometimes it can be certified by someone who is not competent, and the blame goes to the mortician sometimes. You picked a body without proper documentation. But if all those things were there, then you have nothing to worry. But usually, of course, the public are very quick to reverse that direction. They usually say, in a competition between a lie and the truth, usually the lie inazunguka, it goes around the entire world, when the truth is still putting on his or her shoes. So unfortunately, in those circumstances, by the time the truth is coming out, some morticians somewhere probably will be even, usually the county department, they want to save face, they want to penalize someone. And who is the easiest person to penalize? The person who cut. They will say, these people, they're finance oriented. Even before you die, they take you there because they want the money. That is the angle that usually, if you check the comments, it usually says these mortuaries, they need money, and they can even put you and kill you so that they put you into the freezers. But in summary, it's a dysfunctional system that needs a lot of rehabilitation, because those cases need to reduce as much as possible if we are careful to ensure that the certifications are done medically and clinically, and then the last office is done well and documented, and then we come in there. Yes. And in any case, I think that the person who realized this person was still alive and rushed to an emergency unit should be commended, because, he's done a positive thing. Yeah.
Okay. I think my question is, there's a case I've seen, who is supposed to vet the doctor who is doing the postmortem.
Who's supposed to?
To vet.
Oh, to vet.
Reason I'm asking, there is a case somewhere whereby a doctor in pharmacy did a postmortem, then now the mortician was taken in that you allowed an qualified person to perform the. Is it my work to vet my seniors?
It's a very good question and a challenging one. Again, it's because of systemic breakdown. In mortuaries, you have administrators, isn't it? And then in hospitals, if it's a mortuary that is within an institution, there's the regular administration, starting from the CEO or the med super. Those are the people who ideally are the ones to determine and who works. And you have even HR, human resource, who works in the mortuary. As to who vets, I mean, that is, the institution takes that blame 100% as to who allows someone to work in a mortuary. Mostly is the lead person of that institution. Most established farewell homes or mortuaries require licensing. Like before you do, you have to show your credentials. Are you licensed? Just like your KHPO is insisting any person working in a mortuary needs to be licensed. Even the medical practitioners who are working needs to be licensed. And these days, with a lot of online internet access, you can actually key in and you check someone. But that is the role. The role of the mortician there is to just insist to the administration of an institution that the people to do the postmortems need to be qualified and licensed, be it a medical officer or if it's a complex case, pathologist. I think that is that's our only role, not to work to decide. But in practice, I know in private mortuaries, there's usually no establishment. It's actually, sometimes it is a commercial interest that drives who is called to come, who lives in more. But sometimes when it complicates, is usually when you get it rough. So it's, a brief answer is the institution. Make sure you insist on the institutions that they are the ones to ensure that whoever is performing, especially forensic, and especially cases with potential public interest, be very clear on those ones. There are quite a number of cases, even regionally here, that even me as a pathologist, I know this one, I'm not going to handle. Let the government pathologist handle, because of the public interest nature of the case. I'm not vetting myself, but I'm saying this one, because of the direction it's taking, let Dr. Odor or Njeru take the lead. Yes. Ivo Sasa. So you have to be very cautious in what lead them. Otherwise, it can get you into trouble. Thanks. I think that's enough. Asante.
Daktari, I may take up. Thank you. Daktari Martin, come over here. Just come over and ask you a question while you are here. Let's clap for Martin. Martin is our senior. You ask your question here as we see you.
Jacinta nawachokesha bure na nikiangalia saa yangu I can see lunch is past. Actually mine was not really a question. I just wanted to add a comment on to what Daktari was saying. The problem is actually maybe the mortician would be arrested in conjunction with the person who has done the postmortem in a way, because some of us, the clinicians or any just other medical officer would come to our facility and tell us, if you find work, please call me. then you will call him. So if you are the one who has called that person to come and do the postmortem, then it will be assumed that the two of you are working in cahoots. Yeah? The two of you are benefiting. And that would be one of the reasons maybe a mortician would be arrested. So it is not entirely your work to check the credentials of the person coming to do the postmortem, but rather if you are the one who has called in that person to do the postmortem, then it will be assumed you are aiding each other. And maybe there is something that you want to cover up. And I know maybe it happens that way because, again, if I may just add to what Dr. was saying, part of the reason why you see most people refusing or questioning why they should do a postmortem is the fees that are charged. Most of our facilities now are charging more, and people would ask, because death doesn't knock on your door, I'm coming tomorrow. So you definitely are not prepared. And the little money you have would be definitely for interment. So when you are told to do a postmortem, then you look at the fees and you find it is prohibitive, definitely someone will ask not to do the postmortem. So in one way, we have contributed, that is where I am, we have contributed to what we are seeing. And I think this is also a learning curve for us that moving forward we can change. So there are so many things I had noted down, but I think those two are really speaks to us as morticians. So thank you, Dr. Thank you so much for that info.
Thank you, Martin, for your wisdom. We know you are a veteran in this field. We take your wisdom seriously. And now, to appreciate our own Dr. Kibet, as you have heard, there is a correlation between what Dr. Kibet has told us or presented and what MJ presented in the morning. You can tell today was pathologist day, isn't it? Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Kibet. And now, because I'm a Sunday school teacher, we'll do it Sunday school way, isn't it? So let us prepare and clap for Dr. Kibet. We say a good clap, a better clap, and the sweetest clap. Sweetest clap is like, okay, can we try that? Okay, let's start. A good clap, a better clap, and the sweetest clap. Thank you. You are a good student. You can see morticians are good students. We catch things very easily. And now, because you have blessed us with your wisdom, I'll kindly request Brenda, a student. Today we say the Students' Day. Brenda, student from Spring. You have not participated today. Then our friend, mortician friend, Dr. Robert. Tunasemanga mugeni Joe, mwenyeji apone, to present gifts to our two speakers. Madam Sarome, come up here. And Robert, come here. Dr. Kibet. Hey, Robert, our mortician friend. And a student day, we have Brenda to come and present gifts to our presenters. We start with Robert. You present to your fellow doctor. Ndio tuone venye utamsalimia. Robert Sarom, Brenda, come up here. This is Dr. Kibet. Kibet, we are happy. Any other time you can be assured you'll need your wisdom, and we are very, very much grateful. You wait for that photo. Is very, very important to us. We and pathologists, we work very closely, and you can tell pathologist ni mortician wameomoka kwa elimu, si ndio? Hey, let's clap for Dr. Kibet. We love our pathologists. Without you guys, there are so many things that we could be doing way. And we are happy. Picha inakataa? Ni sababu umesema sasa huyo mortician wetu atakuwa sued. Sasa vitu za mortician tunatakanga sisi tunakuanga wasafi. Now that you are our teachers, na tunawaenzi, na that is why you can't go empty-handed. But we were so annoyed when that case was presented, na tukaambiwa mortician wetu, a very well trained mortician from UN, aliitwa quack. Si tuliona hiyo kitu? And we were not happy. Thank you so. Dr. Kibet, we love you. Dr. Robert, thank you. And now we have our student presenting to Madam Sarome. You can be assured we will save money because we are also ready to be saved tomorrow. Thank you so much. The money ready. We love you too. And now at that point, because I can see most of you are very dull. Sugar levels are down. Hypo what? Where are the students? What do we call that? We call when the sugars goes down. What term do we give to?
Hypoglycemia.
Thank you so much. Now we prepare ourselves to go have lunch. And Madam Sarome has something for us. Wale wanatuogopa, mjue kuna watu wanatupenda, wanatubebea mazawadi, and we are good people in the society. When we are recognized by many people, ni kumaanisha we are an asset. And thank you, Sarome.
Brochure here so that you can be able to see about us. Some gift. Singetosha kila mtu, but you can share at least to be remembering us. And we also support buy image. Bless you.
Thank you. Ukipatia chairman wetu, sisi tumepokea, ama sivyo? Let's clap. Thank you sana, Madam Sarome. We receive your gifts with very clean heart. And up to that point, I'm requesting one of the students from University of Nairobi, mortuary students, Isaac Mwangasu, come and pray for lunch. Kujaombe lunch. Usually in our society chakula inaombewa na wamama sababu ndio wanapika. But nowadays we have chefs who are men. Okay. Martin has something for us.
Good afternoon. I have an announcement to make, and this announcement is bad news. So you'll forgive me for breaking bad news as you go for lunch. But I'm meant to understand we lost one of us on 31st of last month. This gentleman has worked in KNH, I think, for many years. Maybe some of you have heard about it. Others have not. Like, I got the information around 10 today. I'm very saddened about it. I have had some arguments with the guys in Kenyatta why they kept quiet. But I think we'll forgive them because maybe they were overwhelmed. But I just felt we should have been told, even if the gentleman did not belong to Mapaki. So we lost a gallant soldier of a mortician, that is. His name is Peter Wanjohi. For those of you who knew Wanjohi. And unfortunately, the burial is tomorrow. And I know most of us are here. But I just want us to observe a minute of silence for him, and then we can pray for our lunch. Can we be upstanding? May the Almighty God rest Peter Wanjohi's soul in eternal peace. Thank you.
You can have a seat. Hi everyone. Isaac Mwangasu, a student from University of Nairobi. I'm going to have a word of prayer so that we can pray for lunch. So let's bow down our heads for a word of prayer. O Heavenly Father, Father Almighty, Father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we do come before you this day. We give you thanks because we've seen the start and almost seeing the end of it. We do confide in you because you're the Father Almighty. As we go to have our meal for the day, may you bless us, may it nourish us, may it give us the energy to see through the day. And as we see through the day, we won't forget to thank you. We also pray for Wanjohi, who was one of us. He taught us a lot. For personally, I went through his hands and he taught me a lot. And may you place his soul in purgatory, and may you at least, and please let us see him in heaven together. And as we go and have our meal, we'll not forget to thank you. It is in Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Now that marks the end of today's session. As you take your lunch, you can leave at your own pleasure. Thank you so much for allowing us to read you today, me and Madam Aisha. We don't take it for granted. You can have your lunch, enjoy your lunch, and God bless you, and we meet tomorrow. Thank you. Anyone who feel like they would like to see Madam Sarom